Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special edition of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a special day indeed. We are officially 4 days away, right? No, well, technically 3 days away from Christmas, because obviously Christmas morning is happening on Monday. Obviously, this is a very, very special show today. I've been talking about this all year long. It is our sixth annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick, and we are giving away over $1,500 in prizes. And listen, in a second, I'm gonna drop that hashtag. All you gotta do, folks, is put that hashtag and put it in the chat, and you're automatically entered into the contest. Super easy. You don't have to be a channel member. You don't have to even be subbed to the channel, though we would appreciate it because this is something that we do on a yearly basis. And speaking of memberships and counts for subs, as of this morning, as of literally seconds ago, Double Barrel Gaming is 32 subs away from 14,000 subscribers. And it's something that I was hoping to get done before Christmas. It would be our Christmas gift from the community to us to hit that number. Hopefully, we can do that live on the air. That would be amazing. But listen, I want to welcome in everybody here. We already have over 200 folks here. Again, I'm putting in the that would have been a mistake. I almost put the link for the show, which would not have been good. So yeah, folks, all you got to do is put the hashtag in, and as you can see, it is Xmas with the boomsticks, and that's all you got to do. You drop it into the chat, and you're automatically entered. And shout out to Dave, who of course is here. He's the one that created the intro. We actually used that last year, and because it was so awesome, we used it again. Dave, good morning, kind sir. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Boom. Thank you so much. Don't give you too much credit. It was a lot of apps and a lot of fun sticking that together for you. But you know what? It's a good way to kick off the show because this is going to be such an amazing show, and everybody should stick around because there's several rounds of giveaways, so it's going to last like the whole show is going to be giving stuff away. So don't just come on and go. Stick around, hang around, and be here and celebrate all the gaming and good stuff we have going for you. And what an amazing panel today. I'm so glad that some of the diehards are here with Fuzzy and Dreadpool, and of course, Mr. Boomstick himself.
We definitely appreciate the kind words, and of course appreciate you being here. And obviously this is what we're doing is, we're not going to have a massive panel. I mean, I did send it out to a couple of folks that I work with on a regular basis that might want to jump in and kind of give us their their hot take on either some of the topics or even the second half of the show, which is my favorite part, and that is where we're going to tell our favorite holiday stories and share those private moments with you. And I think that it really does humanize the panel, and it's fun. It's fun to kind of hear and look behind, take a peek in the curtain of, well, what makes us us. And I'm looking forward to it very much. And of course, we have a couple of small stories that we're going to get into that are gaming related, because that's why you guys and gals are here to talk about video games. And speaking of talking video games, Dreadpool, welcome back, dude. It's great to have you back on this, specifically on Breakfast with Boom, but this particular day, I'm glad you didn't miss it.
Oh, I can't miss today. Are you kidding me? I am here for everybody. You see me?
Yes, we do see a shadow. You're like the shadow broker because you got like the stars behind you, and you're a dark silhouette. So you are very shadow broker-ish, if you will. And if anyone knows Mass Effect, that dude was nefarious. So hey, man, welcome, Shadow Broker.
I'm happy to be here. It's great. This is the time of year that I do look forward to also for many things. And doing the reminiscing and stuff like that is also the best part, where you get to see the other side of us sometimes. You just see us debating a lot and throwing out our opinions and thoughts, but now we get to actually express more of our personal selves to you guys, and this is the part that I like. It We're like family here.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. That's a great point, and that's why I'm glad everyone is here. I mean, obviously, we're missing Crispy Bomb. He's working. We're also missing newly addition to the family, Silent Cipher, who is probably going to be in the chat, but he wanted to be here. Obviously, work is work, folks. So we'll get him back. Hopefully next year we'll have everyone there. But listen, great to have everyone, and let's welcome in the best bald head in the business, folks, Mr. Sexy himself, Fuzzy Belvedere. What's going on, brother? Good morning.
Morning, everyone. Glad to be here. So awesome to be here for this show, and just talk about the topics, and get you to 14K today. Don't forget, everybody in the chat, hit that like button if you haven't already. But man, this is an awesome time of year, and can't wait to get into some of these discussions today. But man, looking forward to this show. Thanks again.
Well, thank you for being a part of today's special show, folks. And listen, real quick, let me catch up on some of the super chats. And of course, we got a couple of new channel members, which is amazing. Trent82 is a new channel member. Trent, thank you so much for the generosity. Sith Lord doesn't drop one, but he drops $2 super chats and says 2024, the year of our Lord Phil Spencer. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. 2024 is going to be, probably, based on some of the stuff that I know that I have not talked about publicly, probably Xbox's best year. And I think that it is going to honestly put the entire gaming industry on notice that their first party is here, and it is something to be reckoned with. And I do say, and again, this is the speculation part of the conversation. If you thought 2023 was big for Xbox Game Pass, I am here to tell you that I think next year is going to be even bigger, for a multitude of reasons. And one of the highlights, I'm not talking about first party stuff, because first party we know is going to be there. But I think one of the biggest highlights of next year is going to be Stalker 2. That game is launching in the Game Pass. It is an Xbox and PC exclusive. They don't have any plans to work on a PlayStation version. I'm hoping that they don't. I'm not being scandalous. I think that game is going to do really well on Xbox. I think that we know for a fact that they got a bag of money from Microsoft. We know that Microsoft has stepped in during their transition, getting out of Ukraine and moving into their new headquarters. I'd like to see that game stay exclusive personally, and I hope that it does, for a multitude of reasons. And that's a really big one. I mean, if you saw what they showed a couple weeks ago, a lot to get excited about with Stalker 2. We have a super chat here from the Collector, who drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Thanks for everything that you do for all our great community, and Merry Christmas." And brother, thank you for the very kind words, the generosity, and it is our absolute pleasure to do, because it's our way of paying it forward, giving back to the community that on a yearly basis, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, consistently gives back to Double Barrel Gaming. So we like paying it forward. So thank you so much for that. We have Michelle Alexandria, who drops an outstanding, very generous $4 super sticker. Michelle, thank you so much for the kind generosity. We have I Love Coffee showing his support with an outstanding $5 super chat. And our very good friend, all the way across the world from Israel, folks. I know Eli for years. We talk in DMs almost every day. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Merry Xmas, Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick, and to all of the community, happy holidays and a happy new year." Brother, that's very kind of you to say, and thank you for the generosity. I keep hearing some talking in the background. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. Yeah. We hear Chris 713 has become a channel member. Chris, thank you so much for that, brother. Paul Drew, who's been a channel member for 18 months. Paul, welcome and thank you for the outstanding generosity. He says, thanks for another year of amazing podcast, Boom, keeping us Xbox fans updated, informed, and entertained. Merry Xmas, brother. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Mo B drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, everyone, let's get Boom above the goal. Let's hit 14K. If somebody is typing, if can you just put it on mute? Because it's
Not me.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on mute.
Oh, okay. No, actually,
Dredd, I think you might actually your camera mic might be picking you up.
Yeah.
You might go in and check your settings.
Is that what that is?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll
check it
mute
out.
you. That's all right. That's all right. I got you're good, Dredd. Don't sweat it, brother. Let's see. Moby again with the $5 super chat says, everyone, let's get Boom to above the goal. Let's hit 14K right now. If anyone in the community deserves it, it's Boom, brother. That's very kind of you to say, and I appreciate that. I'll keep you guys and gals updated as we continue through the show. Helava drops, who's been a channel member, wow, for 27 months. That is very generous of you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the generosity. He simply says, Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to you, sir. Nightwolf 3186, who's been a channel member for a month. Thank you so much, Nightwolf. Welcome back. He says, Mr. Boom, thank you, and Mrs. Boom for doing a show like this. It goes to show how much you love and have passion for this community. Love you, bro. And yes, that's very kind of you. And listen, we really love doing these types of shows. And of course, if folks remember, last year we did $1,000. Mrs. Boom, who handles all the finances behind the scenes, wanted to do a little bit more because of how difficult this year was for a lot of people. And she said, can we do more? And we looked at the finances, and yeah, we did. We took some money from other places, and we wanted to up the ante, so to speak. And that's why it's $1,500. And on top of the $1,500, we have 3 donations. Sith Lord dropped a worldwide code for AC Unity, which we'll be giving away. The Thunderdome Gaming Society has donated a code for Starfield. And of course, Nerd Propellant, which I'll be showing his commercial for his store, is donating a shadow box of the character of your choice. I just have to send him your information, and obviously that will be drawn as well. So a big thank you to all the donations. Double K24, who's been a channel member, holy moly, for 30 months, says Merry Christmas to all, and Merry Christmas to you, Double, and thank you for the generosity. Smitty Smith, very good friend of the show, been watching for years. He is always here. Smitty, brother, thank you so much for joining us. He has been a channel member, folks, for 44 months. Dude, that is crazy generous. He says this: happy holidays to all. Enjoy your friends and family and stay safe. The Book of X. Indeed. And Pat F drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, Merry Xmas, Mr. and Mrs. Boom. Thank you again for all that you do for the community. It's acts like this that makes the Xbox realm so special. Much love to all, and much love to you and yours. Merry Christmas, and thank you for the very kind words. Helava drops an additional £2.50 super chat and says, Merry Christmas. So thank you so much for the additional generosity. The Truman Channel, folks, drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, G.I. Joe aircraft carrier forever. Dude, did you have that? That's my white whale. That is the one thing. And I had every G.I. Joe vehicle, every one of them. And that was the one that when I showed it to my mom said, no. One, because back then it was expensive. And you gotta remember, my pops was just a blue collar dude. And 2, where the F are you going to put it in this apartment? So that's what happened. So shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the generosity. Now we will get to the other super chats momentarily. I do want to kind of just once again, I'm throwing into the chat, folks, the hashtag that you need to do. All you have to do is copy and paste it. It's simply hashtag Xmas with the boomsticks. Exactly how it's written. You put it into the chat. You're automatically registered. I'm using the giveaway tool that StreamYards has linked and that they have provided, with this particular service. And if you win, well, we're going to send you your prize. And also, if you're outside of the states, obviously codes for Steam and other things don't work. We will send you the money of the value of the prize via only PayPal, because it keeps Mrs. Boom and us and our bank accounts safe. We don't use cash apps. We don't use any. We don't send checks. We don't send cash. We will use PayPal. And if you don't have a PayPal account, don't sweat it. It's very easy to open one up and get that started. But gentlemen, we got to talk about video games. And I want to open up with a story that I find intriguing. I find it to be really telling. I think once we start talking about this story, when you consider that Colin Moriarty said he did not know why Microsoft would want to buy Ninja Theory and had a real problem with them joining Xbox Game Studios, but was okay with the first Hellblade launching exclusive on, well, his favorite brand, which is PlayStation. This, my friends, is big time information. Now, of course, this comes the way of our friend and incredible part of what makes X or Twitter a great place for community and even gaming news. And that, of course, is the Idle Sloth. And if you're not following said person, you are doing it all wrong. You can follow him at idlesloth84_. And he is just like I said, some people say that he is AI or he is a cyborg, or maybe he's a little bit of both. I honestly used to say, no, that's a human man, but he's so good. I don't know if he's part cyborg. But he put out this, and I want to talk about it because it really is telling as to the direction of two companies, meaning Xbox and their studios are starting to move forward to the tip of the spear, and other studios are now starting to follow. And it goes like this, folks. According to Altchair, which is, of course, a website, Insomniac Games is targeting Hellblade 2 for its photorealism to work in conjunction with Wolverine, which we obviously know is in active development, and people unfortunately are playing it even on Xbox now because of this terrible leak that happened. Now, he goes on to say in his tweet, Insomniac Games has been the target of a significant ransomware attack, obviously leading to the leak of internal and confidential files online. One of the leaked slides showcases Hellblade 2 as Insomniac Games' visual target for Marvel's Wolverine character models. And it goes on to say this, finally, folks. Ninja Theory, the developer of Hellblade 2, has showcased impressive character models in their recent trailer, demonstrating the studio's commitment to achieving realistic visuals using motion capture and photogrammetry. This is a big deal because, folks, I'm not an apologist. I love my PlayStation. I honestly do. Do I spend a lot of time on it? No, I don't. Out of the three platforms, it goes like this. It's Xbox, it's Switch, and it's PlayStation. But I'm not going to sit here and apologize and suggest for a second that I, first of all, am not enjoying Spider-Man 2, which, again, I got right back to it because I am quite enjoying it. But I have said this before. Out of all of PlayStation Studios, for me, the tip of the spear is and will continue to be Insomniac Games. I'm a huge fan of Ted Price. I have been since they were solo publishing their games. I have been a fan of many people that work in that studio, and I think that even though this leak happened, and it's very unfortunate, and again, from a human point of view, as much as I'm disappointed for the team members that their work is out there, which, they should be allowed to tell their story how they want to. And of course, the roadmap for Sony is heavily invested in Marvel. So as a nerd, I'm excited. From the human element part of it, I'm really saddened that the development community that is attached to Insomniac games, their personal information got out there, and that is scary. And I hope that they can put a lid on this. And I don't know who is ultimately to blame. Is it Insomniac? Is it Sony? Is it a combination of the both? I just we've all I'm going to say is that Sony needs to be better. They are a billion. I mean, well, yeah, they're $1 billion conglomerate. They make a lot of money. You got to do better with your cybersecurity. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know much about it because I'm just a podcaster, but they need to be better. But I want to reel this back in, Dave. I want to go to you first. This is striking information because obviously these slides were pulled from the leak. And when you consider that many people did not have a lot of faith in what Ninja Theory is doing and why they've taken so long with this, well, I think that the last combat trailer for Hellblade 2 is a clear indication that it's worth the wait. And even studios as important to platforms like Insomniac is to PlayStation have taken notice. What are your thoughts, dude?
Yeah, to me, it shows that when another respected studio is looking and setting the bar, setting their level that they want to achieve in their product at the level of what something that Microsoft and them are putting out. I mean, it just speaks for itself, speaks volumes, really. That because it's to me that's Hellblade 2 is probably going to be the new industry standard this generation, or at least to this point. God knows what they can come up with in a few more years. And even them themselves, with them tweaking and everything. So it's really nice to see that. Of course, a lot of quote unquote fanboys are downplaying and all that kind of stuff, and it's like whatever, dude. I mean, it's clear as paint on the wall is to what this means, is that they are showing a lot of respect, and Sony and the executives there think if we're going to have a game that looks really good, this is the bar we have to at least try and achieve too, if not try and step over. I don't know if they'll be able to step over it, but at least they can try and get to it. So that that's much respect for their hindsight, their vision, future as well too. To strive to meet those kind of goals, because we all know, we've seen those dev things that they've put out on the where they've gone to the ends of the earth, to do motion capture and stuff, and to get the the environments and stuff like that in Iceland and stuff, and or in Greenland, I'm sorry. And so it's it's pretty amazing, and their level of detail is something that other companies are going to strive for. So that's got to make them feel good. I think it's great, and it's like I said, there's a lot of people that downplay and poo poo a lot of things,
Mhm.
but this whole leak, though I don't condone it or anything like that. The whole thing is like you just can't, those narratives and the BS and all the kind of crap that they've been spewing out just doesn't hold water. Just just we can tell that the tide has turned, and it's heading toward Microsoft's the stuff that they're working on is just amazing, and I think it's great that they're actually trying to, the bar has been raised, and it's by Hellblade 2.
Yeah. And it's funny because there are a lot of people, including myself, that have been waiting for this shift, right, Dave? This turn, And this all goes all the way back to a very good friend of the community. I would dare say, great friend of the community, Lord Cognito. Voice of the Iron Lords podcast. He has been on his high horse. Hashtag just one. And when he says that, he's not being insulting. He's saying, as a fan of the industry that looks over at Sony and sees games like Horizon, sees games like The Last of Us, observes games like God of War and now Spider-Man, there's something special about those games. Now, folks, I get it. Those games may not be your bag. Maybe that you don't like that over the shoulder sad dad kind of thing. I get it. I'm not going to argue with you. That's my thing, and apparently it's Cognito's thing. And when you consider that Hellblade 2 is launching exclusively on the Xbox Series consoles as well as PC, potentially early next year. I mean, we saw game, the gameplay we've been asking for, Dreadpool, was shown to us at the Game Awards. We got the combat trailer. We've seen the different up close and personal where I as a human being could not honestly tell whether or not that was the actress or was the game. And it turns out it was the game. So it makes sense why someone like Insomniac Games, who does put out a significant amount of greatness on a regular basis, would want to target something as special. And what it appears, like Dave said, Dreadpool, it appears, folks, that the tech that's being used for Hellblade 2, it will ultimately become the standard in gaming. And that is a Microsoft first-party game. What are your thoughts on that, Dread?
Well, here's the funny thing. It's all pre-recorded. You didn't know that? You didn't know that this was just film? Because Forza Horizon was film? Oh, wait. You mean this is gameplay? It's funny how you prove it and you show it, and people still are denying the fact that it is what it is. It is gameplay. It is, what they've been asking for, what we've been asking for, to show us what it is. And it's awesome to see that they set the bar again on how to do all this stuff, because it's always certain companies that do all this. And I'm glad that Microsoft has finally got a team that's setting the bar again on how to do certain things. And this is in the visual, tomography?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy for you
You
to
know what I
say.
mean? So with the photorealism, right? So when you get to that point that another competitive studio is looking at what you're doing and saying, we want to at least meet up to that expectation. And that's not what they mean. They mean that they want to do at least that, if not better, and that's going to be impressive for them to do. And it's good. This is what we want. We want that. That's what we've been asking for, is a competition. We want them to strive and do more, do better. When they create their creative talents with the game style, the gameplay, the visuals, we want better. Do we really remember? I know most people don't, but people here on the panel do. Remember the old 360 3D games with the horrid controls?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Where are we at now? The fluid controls that we have now, the game itself will actually coordinate itself sometimes, so we don't have to do certain things to give us the best visual of where we're at. And then sometimes we found out way back in the day when they were doing that we were fighting with the camera controls, because we're like, no, we want to see over here. We want to see over here. So, today's day and age, it shows you how far we've come and how far we're going. And a game like this, Hellblade 2, is just amazing.
Yeah.
Just the visuals. I still think that sometimes I think the visuals are too real, that they're overly overly realistic that the real world doesn't look that good, you know. And it's just funny how when you look at some of this stuff, it does feel like that, you know. And it doesn't feel like when ray tracing came out and everybody was putting it on there. I'm trying to think of the game right now because I called it. They put Vaseline on everything, and it was the hacker game.
Oh, Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs
Thank you.
Legion. Yeah.
Yeah, Legion. That one there, it looked like everything was Vaseline. Everything, everywhere. The concrete was Vaseline. You know what I mean? They're not doing that here. They're not overly using the technology and putting it everywhere. It's all about putting it at the right amount and all that. Yes, concrete will shine when there's enough rain, but if it's not raining, concrete is not going to shine like that.
Yeah.
You know, but what they've done here with the rain and the gravel, and you know, you look at these other nuances that you normally don't look at when you're playing, right? This is what everybody does. When Halo came out, Halo Infinite, when they came out with that showing, and I was like, holy cow, I can't wait to play it, right? But everybody was looking off in the distance in the background going, oh, I see pop-up. And it was like, what, a sliver of grass back there in the distance that you normally in real life could not see? You
Mhm.
guys are visually inspecting that, you know, that's a little overkill, but doing the same thing here. When you're looking at all this stuff, you want it to blend in so well that you don't even realize it. Because I know once you start playing the game, you're focused. This is where you're focused on. All this other stuff over here and over here no longer exists. Like my hand no longer exists. You're not focused
Mhm.
there. You're focused here.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're replaying it and you're watching it as a secondary person, you see all this stuff, and that's where the nuances come into play, where a lot of people start picking it apart, you know. And when you're picking it apart on Twitter, Lord help us all, because people will fine tune 3 slivers of grass versus 2 slivers of grass, you know, 1080p versus 900p, and it's like, it's so close. Really, does it matter? And when you're in 4K, you know, are you going to sit there and be like, well, it's 5K?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Really?
makes sense.
Does it really matter at this point in time? So again, it's awesome to see what they're doing, how they're leading this part of the industry, and how the industry is also trying to follow suit to one up them. You know, I can't wait for this to play this game in my hands and see how how it actually plays. I mean, I want to, you know, it looks good, but until I have it in my hands and actually feel how it plays, you could not. It's hard to say anything when it comes to that.
I think I mean, it's safe to assume that it's going to have similar controls
Yes.
to the original, and that's fine. But by the combat, you can tell that they spent a significant amount of time on. I mean, the combat trainer that trained the actors and the developers worked on Star Wars, and so I mean, there you go. They spent the money. This is going to be very exciting. And listen, like I said, if there's one particular part from that combat trailer that had me like kind of like really questioning what I was looking at, was when they superimposed on her face and she was looking back and forth, her eyeballs were going back and forth. I was like, my God, that looks so freaking real. Is that
Mhm.
the actress or is that the freaking game? I couldn't tell. So I had to watch the thing and I'm like, oh, that's the game. But the fact that I had to question that is how good this is. I mean, listen, great points from everybody. We do got to get to Fuzzy Belvedere, but my God, I got to catch the super chats have been ridiculous, and we have also someone that donated. And let me just throw that out there, and I'll get to it. But 80s cartoon villain who's been a channel member for 2 months, which is fantastic, folks. This is insane. He has gifted 20 double barrel gaming memberships. Wow, dude, that is bonkers. Thank you so much for the outstanding generosity, and of course, thank you for being here as always. Okay, so let me catch up some of the super chats, Fuzzy, before we get you in here. Crazy G14 drops an outstanding £5 super chat. and says, "Happy holidays, Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. Panel and chat. Just a little something to show my appreciation for your hard work this year." That is very kind of you. Thank you for the kind words and, of course, the generosity. Parksy 1972 drops an outstanding £5 super chat and says, "Just a small show of appreciation for making my work year better. Can't believe you're not at 14K already. Merry Xmas to everyone. Love to all." Thank you, brother. And I'm glad I love hearing those stories, because that means that the work that we do here is appreciated and helps many people that we may not ever speak to in real life or even meet. Is the work that we enjoy doing. And in fact that you listen to the show all year and that you're enjoying the content is phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. Giggity08, who's been a channel member for a month, says, "Happy holidays, everyone. Hoping for another stellar year in 2024. What are your guys' most wanted games for next year?" Hellblade being one of them for me, for sure. I want to see what's if the Gears Marcus Phoenix collection makes its way to 2024. I am very excited for that, specifically because I think as a pillar of Xbox, which of course we know the three main pillars holding up the box has always been Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo has seen its resurgence. 343 knocking it out of the park. Season 5 is ridiculously good. They continue to innovate and make that game so much better. Forza, and what could you say? Motorsport is masterclass level design. And of course, they continue to support Playground Games, continues to support Horizon 5. I need Gears to come back in a big way. I need Gears to be reintroduced to this community, especially for people that are finding Xbox for the first time and were not a part, maybe not even born during the Xbox 360 era, and a Gears collection, done in, again, my thought and theory and my hope more so was that the same TLC that came the way of, let's say, like a Resident Evil 2 remake is brought to something like Gears that deserves it. Whole Grain Bread drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas, Boom and chat. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas. Thanks everyone for an awesome year. You guys deserve all the positivity. Brother, that is very kind of you to say. We, of course, hope you and your family have an amazing Christmas as well. Captain Chats drops an outstanding £5 super chat and says, Merry Xmas, Boom, and to all of the family and to the whole panel, a fantastic year on the channel. Thank you for the kind words, brother, and thank you for the generosity. Yeah, it's been listen, this is still a small mom and pop kind of organization here, and somehow or another we were able to garner 1.5 million views. That is freaking crazy in a year. Saint Reborn 311 drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Merry Christmas and thanks, Mr. Boomstick and friends. Thank you very much for the generosity and, of course, supporting the channel. Tim the Sorcerer, who's been a channel member for 17 months, folks. He says, Merry Xmas to Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick, panel and chat. Your shows are always a highlight of my day. Enjoy playing wherever you play. Brother, that is awesome of you to say. Thank you for the support, but thank you for the very kind words. Gerald Mack, our good brother, has donated 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Dude, that is very kind of you. Thank you for the support. We also have Why So Serious. He drops a $5 super chat and says, hey, Boom, are you giving away he has it blocked out, so thank you for that. But it says, are you giving away Pornhub gift cards asking for a pony? That is hilarious, because if you didn't know, Pornhub it takes up a lot of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 players' times, according to a recent stat. Microsoft being a small sliver. I'm just saying. Good stuff right there. V Mac Man drops, who's been a channel member for 20 months. Dude, that's very kind of you. He says, good morning and Merry Christmas to Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick and panel and chat. Brother, Merry Christmas to you as well. So, folks, real quick, we have 3 winners for the giveaway items that were donated The first winner is Stitch6669. He has won the code that was donated by Sith Lord for AC Unity. Reach out to me on DM, email, or of course, message me on Xbox Live, and I will get you that code forthwith. We also have Shine Films, who is the victor of the Starfield code that was donated by Thunderdome Gaming Society. So as soon as you hit me up, brother, I will drop that code in for you. If you can, DM me or message me some way. And obviously, you can go right to the About page of the channel, and you can see my email address there, and I can send you the code that way. And Jason Max is the winner of the donated shadow box of your choice from the amazing Nerd Propellant. And while I'm talking about the Nerd Propellant, let me run their ad so you can see what you have won. Again, it's one of the shadow boxes. I have a Resident Evil 4 one. It is absolutely amazing, handcrafted artwork. And you have won, Jason Max. Here is that commercial, folks. Check it out. And yeah, DM me on Twitter and give me your shipping information. I will forward that to Nerd Propellant, and you guys can work out. I guess he'll send you a list of what you can pick, and you pick your prize, and he'll send it to you free of charge. And a big shout out to Nerd Propellant for supporting today's big giveaway. And of course, thank you to let me see. Of course, Sith Lord, as well as the Thunderdome Gaming Society for the generous donations. We will get to the first 6 winners after this topic, but I think that when you hear what Dave had to say and what Dreadpool had to say, there are some really important finite points. But I want to make another one. If Insomniac Games is targeting this new technology that's being used for Xbox and Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2, where I find it fascinating is that the rest of Xbox Game Studios has full access to this technology. Could you imagine what some of their first party games that are going to use this technology will look like? What are your thoughts?
Well, I want to harken back to something you said earlier on in the show with Colin Moriarty, when he was like, "Oh, why would Microsoft purchase Ninja Theory?" This is exactly one of the reasons why. Not just the fact that they had an awesome game on like the smallest of budget and smallest of teams with the original Hellblade, but look at how it's become the kind of like the go-to standard as far as for some of the facial and character model, motion cap and other software like the MetaHuman and things like that being integrated into the engine. So that clearly shows why they were on Phil's list and why it's awesome to have them part of the Xbox studios. But as far as like with that technology and other Xbox studios having access to it, let's not forget Coalition is still pretty much the kings when it comes to UE5.
Indeed, they are, sir.
So I'm curious to see what when they release the next Gears, what they go into as far as they've already kind of mastered like the materials and things like that on like armor and outfits and things like that on the characters. And the character models that they had already were top notch. So I want to see how much further they can take it as far as their attention to detail and things along those lines. And we already know probably Undead Labs, I think, is also kind of like under Coalition's wing or using some of their tech, as well as they're probably using some of Ninja Theory's tech when it comes to like for State of Decay 3 and things. So definitely looking forward to what the future holds. But on the flip side of things, this is going to be kind of a weird take, and I know people will probably look at me sideways for this, but it's great that Insomniac is looking to match or at least achieve that type of realism. But if their budget for Spider-Man 2 is already in the 300 million range compared to the first Spider-Man where it was like 80 something mil, are they going to be able to afford to have that in the, incorporated without cutting corners somewhere else, kind of thing? I can only imagine having that type of tech is going to add a few more, well, maybe not a few more zeros, but a few more million at least to that budget. So I'd be curious to see if they do go that route, where they may have to scale back in other areas and things like that. But yeah, it's great to see that Xbox Studio is recognized for their visual prowess as far as getting these games looking like photorealism. And as Dave mentioned earlier, like with Horizon, I mean, it was one of those things where I remember a lot of people were like, oh, we're just looking at photos or video in Mexico. And then the car goes by and people just could not believe that was actually gameplay at that moment. So it goes to show that Xbox is definitely, stepping up on their visuals for, the games that are targeting photorealism. And they still have a plethora of games where they go for, a unique art style or different type of visual that doesn't have to be photorealistic for those types of games. But can't wait to get Hellblade in my hands as far as hopefully early or at least the first half of next year. I know 2024 is going to be stacked for Xbox games, but man, it'll be interesting to see what other games come out for 2024 and if that was it trademark or registration or rating, I think, for what was it, Clockwork Revolution.
Clockwork Revolution, which obviously is going to have realistic graphics. Obviously, we also have confirmation that South of Midnight was rated as well. We also know that the next Call of Duty, which is going to be a sequel to Black Ops 2, which is another confirmation. And we don't know nothing else other than Hellblade. Avowed, I don't know if Avowed gets delayed, but there, I mean, dude, whether and that's I think one of the most interesting things, whether it is a team of 13 that created Grounded or a team of like 500, the Coalition, having this technology at your disposal to tell your game story that is Xbox exclusive is just madness.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what other teams kind of use these tools to deliver for us. But man, it's awesome to see, and hopefully it's one of many standards set for the industry where a lot of people always used to say, oh, you guys should have games that look more like PlayStation. Now the turns have tabled, or however you want to say it, kind of thing.
Tables have turned, indeed, sir.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that their Ninja Theory is getting recognized for their talent, and can't wait to get that game in hand.
Yeah, and like I said, if you look at something that I don't know if he was supposed to say or he wasn't, Tim Dog, and I know Tim personally. We talk all the time. I love Tim. That dude is, you cut him, he bleeds green. Not like alien green. That's his thing. He threw out there, and I had said this publicly. I had no confirmation on this because if I did, I wouldn't have said it publicly. That I expect that there's going to be a direct of some sorts at the last week of January. He threw it out there. I think it was the 27th is what he said. I don't know if that's true, folks, but I had a feeling for quite a while that we were going to get something early to kind of set the tone for the first quarter of 2024, which I think is Hellblade. That again, that's not on confirmation from me. I'm just saying that's my thought and theory, and I do think we're going to get a what do you call it? A direct at the end of January, potentially setting up a release for end of February or early March. Again, that's just my hot take on it. I mean, listen, great way. We got 625 people here, folks. I'm going to do a live check right now to tell you exactly how many subs we are away. Okay, so we are officially 27 subscribers away from 14,000. That is bonkers. And I'm starting to sweat a little bit because we're getting close. And that would be my early Christmas gift if we can hit that. And of course, I have the first 6 winners. I will announce them momentarily. Again, these are all digital gift cards unless you're outside of the country. Let me continue with the super chats. Let's see. Lost for Words drops an outstanding £3 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Michael Santiago drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, my wife helped me start my podcast years ago. So shout out to Mrs. Boom, who supports the show behind the scenes. Merry Xmas to my Xbox fan. Brother, that's awesome. And of course, I couldn't do anything half as much as I do without her support. She's the cornerstone of what this channel is all about. We have, of course, I mentioned 80s cartoon villain dropped an outstanding 20 double barrel gaming memberships. Dude, again, thank you so much. That's crazy generous. Ultron Quake, who's been a channel member for 4 months, says, I hope Sony reconsiders the massive layoffs at Insomniac. Indeed, I agree. They do not deserve that disrespect after carrying PlayStation on their backs this whole gen. Dude, you are 1,000%. And what he's referring to is in the documents. Apparently, Sony is requesting that Ted Price, who's the head of the studio, let go 50 to 75 developers. And that sucks, man. Considering all their work was kind of thrown out there for everyone to see, and they have been carrying PlayStation literally this entire generation, and it looks like they're going to be carrying them all the way through 2031. You kind of want to keep your developers at Insomniac. Just food for thought, Sony. Just saying. We have Arley TSL. I hope I'm saying it right. If I am, I apologize for the butchering of the name. He drops, folks, a generous $10 super chat and says, Merry Xmas to Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. This coming Xmas, I will be 38 years old when it will be 38 years when I got my NES for Xmas. That started my road to being a gamer. Dude, that is an amazing story. I got I'm an old bastard. I got my first NES when I was 15. That's when it came out, 1985. I was 15. And, really for me, 1978, when Pops came home with the Atari 2600, life-changing. We have Rips Norta drops an outstanding $8 super chat and says, Merry Xmas, Mr. and Mrs. Boom. Thanks for all of the entertainment. Hit that like and sub button and subscribe. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you for the generosity and, of course, the kind words. Silver Afro, our very good friend who's very generous. Well, he does it again, folks. A $20 super chat and says, Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Be safe and have a great time. And thank you again. Sir X-Men, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Fuzzy, we have to Hockenheim and Nürburgring next month. I don't know what that means.
Two new tracks.
Gotcha.
Hockenheim is like a classic UK track.
Gotcha. I thought it was. There you go. I should have. Why shouldn't I have guessed that? It's racing related. Of course, he's talking to you. Shout out to you, Sir X-Men. Nightwolf 3186 drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, my Xmas memory was getting a PlayStation 2 with silent scope. Oh my God, that was such a freaking cool game. Madden 2001 and GTA 3 with it. I also received my first gaming magazines, Game Informer and Nintendo Power and Game Pro, which led to the gamer I am now. That is a freaking amazing, bro. Thank you for that sharing. We're gonna get into it the second half of the show. We're gonna because obviously we still have one more topic I want to cover for gaming, and of course I got to catch up on the super chats because there are a lot of them. Stuff Sean, generous friend of the program, drops a £2 super chat and says, is Dreadpool running in Unreal Engine 5? He might be. I mean, who knows? Andre Doyle drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Merry Christmas and God bless y'all. And thank you so much for the kind words and, of course, the blessings in this world in 2023 and beyond. Everyone certainly needs them. Chris R., generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, I see Dreadpool's point, but RGD Halo Infinite, I think there were multiple gameplay improvements from the delay, not just graphics. I agree.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you
Yeah,
1,000%.
I've said that too, is that, you know, I do think I would have played it back then, but I do think that they held it back for the year to fix those improvements.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a double-edged sword on that one. So don't get me wrong on what I said before. It still applies to before and today and in the future.
No, absolutely. I 1,000%. And I think you're onto something. I definitely think you're on something. I think that one of the things that has me excited and intrigues me as a content creator is one thing that we all have a problem with, no matter what work you're in, is time. So we can't hold time back. There's nothing that we can do. Time is going to continue to move forward. The thing I find intriguing and exciting, especially when you consider Xbox Game Studios, is time. And now, because they have so many studios, which again, it's over 40 named studios, it's over 50 when you consider something like Infinity Ward that has multiple studios. What Microsoft now has, besides ridiculous IP, a lot of money, and a crazy good fan base, is time. They don't have to rush games out. If something like Avowed needs more time to cook, it could launch in first quarter 25 and we wouldn't feel that, because it's not going to be the one game that's releasing for Xbox. They're releasing upwards of 6. I've even heard as much as 7 games next year. So if Avowed is say, okay, Phil, we need more time, let them cook. Right? We've heard that before. Blade, we all want Blade, but we know they've only been working on it for 2 years. That game is probably not coming out for another 3. It may launch with the next Xbox. Let them cook, right? So Smokey, wow, Smokey, this is bananas, brother. He drops folks a $50 super chat and says, this is for flowers for Mrs. Boom, no exceptions, brother. That is very kind. I will make mention of that when I pick her up. That is awesome, Smokey. Thank you, sir. Simon Brandy drops an outstanding £5 super chat and says, have you played Avatar Frontiers? Yes, I have. I got 3 hours in and I'm having trouble with it, man. The hacking is awful and I don't like the map. I feel like I'm constantly lost. But I think, you know what it is? I think I'm suffering from fatigue of big games. Like, I kept going as there's, it's Spider-Man, it's Starfield, it's Jedi, Survivor, it's Hogwarts. I got into Baldur's Gate 3 and that is well over my mohawk. I'm going to continue to play it, but yikes, I'm having trouble with that game. So I started playing old school shumps. That's twin stick shooters, or like old school, like just shooters, like arcade shooters. I need to I need to disengage with these big games. It's too, so I'll get back to it. But yeah, that game is gorgeous. And on my new TV, which is tip of the spear, and I've never had a tip of the spear TV before, it looks ridiculously good. The Longhouse, wow, dude, this Longhouse podcast, folks, just crossed over 400 subscribers. They're new on the scene. They have a trio of incredible content creators. And you know him as the Black Viking, being the lead voice there. Get over there and sub the Longhouse podcast. He drops, folks, a $20 super chat and says this: questions for the panel. We all have been dissecting the information from the leaks, but it's highly probable that Xbox and other competitors are as well. How do you think Xbox capitalizes on this information, if at all? That's an interesting question. We'll cover that in a hot second, because I think that is a question that we may actually cover. Yeah, you know what? That's I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna run with it. Black Viking, thank you for that suggestion. So I'm just gonna stop the super chats there for a second, I want to announce the 6 winners. Okay. And then what we'll do is I want to cover that. I think that is a question. I didn't even consider that. So shout out to the Black Viking. This is why he's a host of a show, because that is an amazing point. So here we go, folks. The first grand prize winner of a $250 gift card is D. Diaz in the chat. Welcome. Congratulations, brother. And here are the next 5 winners of a $100 gift card to your platform of choice. And due to high requests, we have now added Steam. You can get an Xbox gift card, you can get a PlayStation gift card, or you can get a Nintendo eShop gift card. If you are a winner and you're outside of the Americas, we will send you the equivalent via PayPal for you to spend the money on what you want. And again, we're one of the few shows that offer and welcome in our international viewers. Again, the only caveat, folks, is we don't use cash apps, we don't send money, and we don't send checks. It's got to be PayPal, or you have to forfeit your prize, because that is the only way we are protected. Now, these are the next 5 winners. Timoth version 2, or V2, TIMMEH, is always in the chat. V2, you have won a $100 digital gift card to your platform of choice. Torino Johnson was picked. You won a $100 gift card. Justin Russell in the chat has won a $100 gift card to your platform of choice. And here are the next 2. The Black John and Ultron Quake. Both of you gentlemen have won a $100 gift card to your platform of choice. DM me on Twitter. Reach out to me via Xbox Live. It's at Mr. BoomStick XL, obviously. Well, not the at. It's Mr. BoomStick XL on PlayStation as well. But I usually respond quicker to Xbox. And the email address for the business is at the About page of the YouTube channel. Congratulations once again, D. Diaz, first winner of the $250 grand prize. And how do you say this? Is it Timoth? It's how do you say that? I don't even know.
Timmy.
Okay, Timmy. Thank you, Timmy. Version 2, and I think that's probably South Park related. Has won Torino Johnson. Yes, Justin Russell, the Black John, and Ultron Quake. Congratulations! These are the first 6 winners, folks. And we will get to the 6th.
More to come.
More to come, folks. More is on the way. So I want to go first to Dave, and I think that this is a brilliant question. Obviously, the Black Viking was on Primetime Gaming this past Wednesday. Obviously, he woke up this morning to learn that his channel has crossed 400 subscribers. That is amazing. We'd love to see him get to 1,000. Get over there and subscribe. It's a really mellow, down-to-earth, sometimes slanderous bit of a podcast, but we sometimes need and love the slander in our life, and they do it in a fun way. All three of the podcasters are amazing, and obviously he is a big voice on the socials. So his question, Dave, is this: how does Xbox capitalize on this leaked information, or do they even capitalize on Sony's plans, specifically with Marvel, until upwards of when the contract expires in 2035, which by my math is 12 years from now?
Yeah. Stay the course. They have big plans already in place. If they need to, I mean, it's business is business. If they do see something in there that like they weren't expecting or is unexpected to them, then they probably need to, write out a secondary roadmap to counteract some of the things. I mean, and I'm not trying to it's not like sabotage or not
no, of course
anything,
not. Yeah,
but business is business. And if, your competition is coming at you with certain things that you weren't expecting, then you need to, put something in place to either combat it or to at least bring out your benefits as well, so that you can take advantage of what they're planning to do, because it's just business, and when it comes down to it in the day. But yeah, no, I think from what we're seeing, and like from what you've heard that we can't talk about, because some things some things don't pan out. Like, the changes happen. Even some of the leaked documents and stuff that everybody was going on about, because of the ABK deal, when that upload happened and all those documents came out, Phil came out and said, and even reiterated again just the other day, that we know there's a lot of things going around, emails and stuff like that. He said, but a lot of those plans have changed, and we'll let you know when we're ready for our for what the plans are now. So it's a constantly evolving entity. They have a goal. They have at least a 10-year plan, if not longer, for where they want to take the business. And certain things get pushed up, certain things get pushed back, certain things get added, certain things get deleted, depending on the situation as it presents itself. And this being the information that they have is unusual, because now Microsoft is able to better plan. But I guarantee you, a lot of these plans and things that are on there, Sony's going to be tweaking and changing some things too, for the simple fact that they want to still keep their audience guessing. Some things may be inevitable, and they just can't kind of stop or slow down. Like some of those games that are coming out, they need those games out there. So we'll just have to see. But I really believe that Microsoft, not in a bad way, but I mean, it's smart business to take advantage of the opportunities that are before you. But we already, like you said, we believe that from what we're hearing, that this is going to be a really big year for Microsoft. If you thought 2023 was like, oh yeah, Microsoft really coming to, dude, all I can say is you have no idea what's coming this year. And by the end of by this time next year, you guys are like going, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of this coming. And I guarantee you there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of surprises that are coming, and a lot of things that are in the works that as things evolve throughout the season, throughout the year, through different events and or showcases, we'll be made aware of them. So just feel confident that I think Microsoft has this. They got this now. Satya
Yeah.
and Phil, they got you back. They know what you want, and they want it too. So it's going to be a good year, Boom. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so excited.
it's definitely going to be a big year. Dreadpool, I want to bring you in a conversation because Eric the Red, Eric the Red 06 says something in the chat, and obviously we are on the same wavelength here. Now it has not been announced that Blade is going to be a trilogy, right? That's we just assume that there's going to be a multitude of Blade games. Depending on how well this one does, a sequel will automatically be greenlit. I would imagine it's going to do well. It's a Marvel exclusive. It is Blade. There is a film coming out with Mahershala Ali, who's still attached to it, from what we understand. It's gonna be a big deal. He says this, Dreadpool: if Xbox can do a similar thing with Blade, they should introduce Ghost Rider and others. And obviously, he's been listening to the show because we're on the same wavelength. I said that I'm a big Marvel comic guy. I have been for years. One of my favorite darker parts of Marvel are the Midnight Suns. And I'm not talking about the game that came out last year, because that one had a roster that was ridiculously deep. I'm talking about the ground level heroes that are usually attached to the Midnight Suns. And the team has changed over the years, but the main core team is Moon Knight and Ghost Rider and the Punisher. And Daredevil has been a part of that. There's been a few grounded heroes, and I think that what this potentially can do is, if I don't know what allotment of characters have been allowed for them to, I would imagine it's anything they want to use because, well, they're paying for it. And I would imagine that when you talk about Blade, you can almost assume that there's going to be some sort of a Midnight Suns, uh, attachment, maybe an end credits thing. Blade meets with a Ghost Rider. He meets with this team. Maybe he meets with the Punisher. We've been saying that we want to see the Coalition do a Punisher game. What are your thoughts on the fact that will Microsoft use any of this information that is out in the ether to their advantage, their strategic advantage?
Well, yes, and you're right. It all depends on how well the game does,
Right.
right? And we can pretty much assume that the game is going to just sell like hotcakes. It's just going to
Yeah.
be out there. It's going to blow up. If you think about it, what happened with Moon Knight, the show on Disney Plus? It blew up.
Well, the second season is on the way, by the way.
Yeah. And then you have, let's go back even further, because right now it's my favorite Christmas song right now. During this time, obviously, I don't like a lot of the Christmas songs because they just, after 50 plus years, you just kind of, okay, we've done it. But this song came out a couple years ago. Last year? No, it came out last year. And it's from Guardians of the Galaxy. Look at how that blew up huge, so, and I know we're not talking about games here, right? I'm talking about the movies. Now bring that into the video game sphere. It's going to do the same thing. These are characters, Blade, again, in the movies, they didn't realize that it was a Marvel game. I'm sorry, a Marvel IP. And for them to push it out there and it blew up and it came out with a trilogy. This is why we think there would be a trilogy and it would be expansions. And it would make sense, because I mean they just did that with Spider-Man on the other side, right? If the other side of the fence can do it, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Indeed. Yeah.
Blade can do so well and introduce another character, which could be the introduction to another game or the sequel or both. So when they do stuff like that, look at the X-Men games. They pushed out very well back in those days. The best one that I loved was the one that was on Genesis, when it said you had to reset the computer. And for those that have played that, know what I'm talking about. I mean, it perplexed me. I had to play that game twice to get to that point, to figure out how to reset the computer. I kept on pausing that game. When you do stuff like that, and it brings the game into the fourth dimension, which is our dimension, right? It would be unbelievable, and for Blade to be the jump start for Marvel Universe on the Xbox side is going to be great. Introduction into other characters, and as you said, the Midnight Suns would be a great team up on the way to do it with the photorealism, not the way that they did it before, but with the way that they can do it in the future, and just think with the way Hellblade is, and I know I'm bringing it back, but they can be doing that with those characters. So we're going to be playing these movies that I just brought up. So yeah, I mean, there is so much direction that they can go and build off of it, that as long as it grows, they will keep on expanding and keep going with it. But if it just doesn't hit right because certain things, and it's just only the hardcore fanboys play it, it's going to be a big loss.
Well,
But
here's I want to that's a phenomenal point. That is a really, because money, right? Like what did we just learn, Dredd? We learned that as of today, they've only sold, and I'm not being facetious or counsel worry. I'm giving you the numbers, folks. This is what out there. This is out in the ether. Insomniac Games and PlayStation only sold 6 million copies of Spider-Man 2. Now, here's the thing. According to the internal documents, in order to break even, they need to sell 7.1 million copies. Now, I would imagine that is at full price. Now, I think it's safe to say that this game is going to hit 10 million copies. Spider-Man 2 is really good. Now, maybe again, it's not your bag, but it's my bag. And I'm enjoying the H out of it. As a matter of fact, I've put down everything, even the shumps, to go back to play it because I want to play it. But see, that is a issue that Microsoft does not have, because they don't have to sell you. They don't need to say, okay, we're going to launch Hellblade 2 and it needs to sell this much to be profitable, because it's in a service. And what they are hoping is that this, now what's being considered the proper industry standard when it comes to graphics and lifelike, or realism, if you will, that we see that Insomniac is targeting. They are going to get you in for an affordable $16.99 a month versus them trying to charge you $76.43 here in New York for the standard edition of Spider-Man 2. I think that there's a lot to be said about someone looking to say, well, this looks really good. I don't know about this Game Pass thing, but for $17, I'm willing to take a chance. They drop their $17. They play it. They're like, whoa, this is incredible. But look at all these other games. This is insane. Oh, no, I'm staying subbed. And that's how they get you.
Right. And that's the other thing, right? Think about this. How many people are already in there? And we've talked about games
30
that we
million
would,
at least that we know.
right. And we've talked about games that we've already said that we would never, ever had played. But because it was in there, we tried it out and we actually liked these games. We found out that we liked the games that we played that we would never have given a chance because we would never have spent that money, on a typical game. I've said it before. I've played these stupid games, and they're not stupid because they're ridiculous or whatever. It's just mindless.
Yeah.
That's So the wordings that we use sometimes get misinterpreted as different than the meanings we have behind them. But when you can play a game and just, I'm not addicted to Vampire Survivors. I'll tell you that right now. But I can't stop playing that game. I love it.
Dude, I was playing it last night and I got one of the new characters. I don't remember her name is. She has like this spikes that go, dude, it's
Yeah. But but you see what I'm saying? So not only like you're right, where people will be like, hey, you know what? For $17, I'll try it out for a month and see if I like it, or do a 3-month trial. And and that'll be the influx, right? And then with the metrics that they're not doing it by the numbers, because the numbers now are shared across the board when it comes to Game Pass. So when it comes to that, you're going to see the numbers that are coming in to Game Pass because of a game like Blade, because of a game like Hellblade. So funny that they both have the same last part.
Hellblade and Blade. I love it. It's funny. Yeah, you can get twisted up in that.
Yeah. But when you think about it like that, and you're like, okay, these numbers are coming in. You got the other games that are coming out. You have, we're talking about Fable, we're talking about Perfect Dark, but that's way out in the future. Look at the other one that Compulsion Games are coming out with. I am drawing a blank on that one too now.
Oh, South of Midnight.
South of Midnight. Thank you. That thing looks phenomenal for the style, the art style that they're doing. Again, you don't have to make it photorealistic, and it's cool that they're keeping that diversity in games and the play styles, the visuals. So it's not, hey, there's shooter game, shooter, whatever box, none of that. It's everything and anything. And you never know. There may be people that even after the movies still don't know who Blade is, but just happen upon it and then realize that it's a great game. I'm assuming it's a great game. It better be a great game, because I'm going to be disappointed if it's not. But and that's the funny thing is I visualize it as a Deadpool game, but with vampires and the vampire in Blade's powers, right? Because guns and swords. To me, that was like, okay, so it's going to play like this, but but completely different because it's Blade. It's not Deadpool. So again, there's different things that get you excited, and hopefully it will get other people excited. And that's what you want. You want the normies to be like, what's this? Holy cow! Because us hardcore are going to be playing it anyway, so they don't have to count on us. They have to count on the normies that don't know a lot of this stuff. You know, how many times do we still run into people, as much as we talk about Game Pass to our friends, that are like, what's that? You obviously haven't been paying attention all these years. I've been telling you that I've been playing for free, according to some people, all these games. I mean, why do you think I'm playing all these games? How do you think I can afford all these games? I'm playing them because I'm renting the games through Game Pass. And this will be the same thing. It'll be like another thing. You know, Starfield came out. People were like, what's that? I heard something about Starfield. Is that like another Star Wars game? And it's like, no, totally different. I wish, but it wasn't. You know, and that's the beauty of what Blade can bring, right?
Yeah,
so
dude.
It could bring other of these characters, can bring more talking topics to the water cooler. You know, because when you're talking about, holy cow, did you see this? And people are like, you talking about the movies? No, the game. I'm playing the game. It's even better than the movies. The storyline. It's because it falls in with this. You know, it could open up a whole can of worms that would be beneficial for this fisherman. You never know.
No, it's
That's the beauty of all this.
No, it's great points all around. What's about video? Let's bring you in on the conversation, because obviously Dave and Dreadpool have killed it with their points. I'm interested to get yours though. There's a lot of information specifically in the strategic behavior of what PlayStation is going to do. Now, we know that in these documents, they're afraid of Game Pass because Xbox, or specifically Microsoft, has the ability to not only offer these AAA bombs in their service day and date. We know Sony cannot do that, but they also have the ability, and more so the spending ability, to get third and second party games in this service. But do you think that, I mean, this is a bad leak. This is probably, I would dare say, the worst leak in gaming history when you consider how much was in there. 1.7 terabytes of information that have a roadmap that dates all the way to 2031, right? Which is 8 years forward. We have known that, lots of stats with monies. Can Xbox, or will Xbox, use any of this to their advantage?
I think they will. And we've seen from some of their documents, the stuff that was uploaded during the court hearings and stuff like that for ABK, that they tend to plan things out in increments of like 2 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. So I'm pretty sure they're looking at this and like, okay, this will line up with, X, Y, and Z release, because we've already seen a good bit of the games that will be, probably released within the next 4 or 5 years. But we've also not seen some that they've been strategic in keeping close to the chest, and they've gotten a lot better as far as some things not slipping out, other than maybe like a project name or something like that. So I'm pretty sure they're looking at this and saying, okay, so for this, if this game's coming out in 2030, what do we have that's scheduled or slotted to be in that window? And
dude, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I know they're probably going to start looking at how they can counter PlayStation, not necessarily like on a head-to-head basis, but like overwhelm the customer base where, okay, PlayStation's going to release 2 big titles this year. We're going to have 6. And then we might put this one, because we know it's going to be a bigger draw, to go head-to-head against like maybe X-Men. Like maybe
Brilliant.
They do have additional Marvel things that they, like almost like the way Insomniac has, like, okay, here's the contingency plan. If this does what we think it will do, we'll go ahead and greenlight a we'll probably already be working on it, but we'll go ahead and greenlight like a Ghost Rider or a Moon Knight or something like that. So they may even have it where we see some of those characters make an appearance in the Blade game, or get they make a reference to them or something like, oh yeah, this guy is over, in the US doing this or something along those lines kind of thing. But if anything, I think they look at this where they look at their original roadmap up to 2030, and then they're like, okay, did we have something to counter this? Did we have something that's, of this type of stature that could be a just as equal of a draw during that time period? Because maybe they have a Star Wars, or Disney, other Disney IP at that point in time, and it's like,
You mean like the Mandalorian made by, I don't know, ZeniMax Online? I'm just saying, that's been the rumor.
exactly. So it's kind of one of those things where they might be, now able to shift and say, okay, this is what we're going to put as a head-to-head. We were going to put like a smaller title during this period. We feel confident in this title. We're going to go head-to-head with them. Or maybe they're like, okay, this smaller title might get overwhelmed. Let's move it, a week early or a couple of weeks early, so that way we get the jump on it where people are playing this, and maybe they have enough time to finish it before they hop over to that one. But it definitely gives them an easier insight for their future plans, and if they need to change anything, or if they're right on schedule of what they're expecting. Like, I'm pretty sure they're looking at a lot of this stuff from Insomniac and saying, that's what they're going to have as their launch lineup. Okay, Coalition, Bethesda, and let's say 343. These are the things we want for our launch lineup. Go ahead and start your small teams on those now. I know you have this side project or this other main project coming up, but go ahead and start a small team for this, and this. So at launch, we have these 3 to their 1 type of thing. So, and that's kind of what I expect out of Xbox moving forward, especially when you get insight to your competition. And it's funny. It's like we saw the reverse of this at the Game Awards a few years back when the Series X was announced, and you can see Mark Cerny writing on a napkin kind of thing, taking notes. So,
Yeah.
so this is
That's right.
something
He was writing on a napkin, wasn't he?
yeah. So it's definitely something that they can use to their advantage. It's like almost having like a crystal ball for the lotto numbers kind of thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to use this to the fullest. And I would expect their response to match or try to exceed whatever they have on that projected timeline. And obviously things can change, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make sure whatever they have planned is pretty solid by that point. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. Shout out to, again, the Black Viking for for the suggestion for the topics. I thought that's brilliant, actually, brilliant topic, folks. Now we're going to move into the next 6 winners. We actually have a bonus prize that someone literally just donated. Splendiferous in the chat has donated a 3 months Xbox Game Pass Ultimate global code, which means that if you win, you can get it anywhere. So Splendiferous, brother, that is very kind of you. And I just ran the number, and I ran the contest. What am I saying? Numbers. Wes WES Sabali, SABALI. You have won, courtesy of Splendiferous, folks, a 3 month Xbox Game Pass world code. So if you can, Wes, DM me on Twitter. It's at Mr. BoomStick XL. Either email me with the go to the about page of the channel, and of course we'll get you a code. I'll email you the code, or of course hit me up on Xbox Live, and again, that's Mr. BoomStick XL. No surprise there, and I will send you the code. And congratulations. Now these are the next 6 winners, folks. So I got to start first with the grand prize. The second $250 grand prize goes to none other than Lady Foxfire. Congratulations, darling. You have won a $250 gift card to your platform of choice. And it's probably going to be Xbox. But DM me and I'll get you that code forthwith. Now, folks, remember, I can't send the codes now. I'm live on the air, and I actually have to get the code. So you'll get them by end of day, as long as I can get in touch with everyone. I've already got in touch with a few winners, so I'm happy about that. Okay, so These are the next 5 winners of the $100 gift card to your platform of choice, folks. Remember, it's Steam, Xbox Live, PlayStation or PlayStation Plus or PSN, or Nintendo eShop. And it's Sherwin Williams. Welcome. Congratulations, Sherwin.
Great thing.
Lethal Papa in the chat. $100 gift card. DM me, brother. I'll get you that forthwith. We
Congrats.
also have Eli Slomovich, all the way from the other side of the world, brother. Congratulations. I know that I have you on my friends list for PayPal. I'll get you over there. Don't worry about that. We have Tim the Sorcerer. Congratulations, Tim. You have won a $100 gift card. And the last one, V Macman, have won. Congratulations, V Macman. I saw him in the chat before. You have won a $100 gift card to your platform of choice. Congratulations to all of the winners. It's a total of 16 different winners, 12 gift cards, a lot of donated items from the community. A big thank you to everyone that donated. And congratulations once again. Happy holidays to all. Mrs. BoomStick and I wish you and everyone that have won, and of course everybody in the chat, a very happy holidays. Now, before we get into the fun part, I do got to, there's, my God, there are so many super chats, folks. Let me just take a minute to catch up. Mo de la Garza drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says Sarah Bond has been counting down the days till 2024. What do you think is going to come to Game Pass day one in 2024? I have a strong suspicion that because of the announced super games with Sega, was it that the end of last year or the beginning of this year? I don't know. I lose track. But I know that they have a partnership. And I know, and this is just, I don't know anything, folks. I'm simply just shooting in the dark here. If I were a betting kind of a guy, I would like to believe, because of the super game partnership with Sega, that some of those games will be day one Xbox Game Pass, if not all of them. Again, it's just a shot in the dark. We also have here, 80s cartoon villain who's been a channel member for 4 months, says this: congrats to the winners. My hacking skills may have worked on Sony, but they have not worked on the Mr. Boomstick giveaway, with a sad face. Sorry, brother. I don't pick them. I really don't.
Hey, Boom.
Yes, sir.
I know you're reading your super chats, and there's one that just dropped from Hargeet. You definitely ought to jump on because Santa Hargeet strikes again.
Okay. Well, Hargeet, he does what he does.
Heart of gold.
Yes, heart of gold. So let me get to that in a hot second. King Webb drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, happy holidays panel 2024 is ours. Hashtag Xbox World Order, Xbox Domination. I absolutely agree. So let me just get down to the bottom and check out the okay. So wow, Hargeet, wow, he's amazing. He drops, folks, a $5 super chat, but he has donated several codes to global codes for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So wow, yeah, that's you. Says, okay, Merry Christmas to you, of course, Hargeet. Game Pass Ultimate 3-month global codes, and I believe there are 2 here. Yes,
and
there are
more.
2, and he just dropped another 2. Yikes! Wow, brother, that is crazy generous of you, folks. Please, if you are a winner of these codes, if you have fast skills, which I do not, thank Hargeet Chani in the chat. Okay, so let me just bring it back up over here. Okay, so East Texas Alex, who's been a channel member for 18 months. Alex, that is very kind of you. He says, happy holidays, everyone. Be safe and have a Merry Christmas. Hit that subscribe button button, everyone. And folks, we are sweat-inducing close. We are 16 away. 16 subscribers away from 14,000. We have over 600 people here. For the love of gaming, if you are not subscribed, help me and Mrs. Boom get past this threshold. And this would be done on a really special day. It's obviously our 6th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. and it would be pretty dope to cross that. So please, if you're not subbed, consider subscribing. I do this 5 days a week, folks. You know it. It's always fun. We always have a lot of fun. Some slander, but we have a lot of fun. So let me continue with the super chats. We have Sir X-Men drops an additional $2 super chat and says, Xbox greatest community ever for Xbox for the players. Yes, indeed. They're not for the payers. They're for the players. That little slander right there. Sorry. Torino Johnson drops an additional $5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Boom. Mrs. Boom, panel and chat. Thanks for the great year of content. Well, thank you, brother, for always being here. Spartan661, who's been a channel member, folks, for 5 months. Dude, that is amazingly generous of you. Thank you. He says, it has been one hell of a roller coaster ride for us Xbox fans this year. A great year for all console gamers. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all. Indeed. Listen, look, folks, I mean, even if you're just a PlayStation guy or gal, they were a little light in first party, but when you consider that they have a lot of partnerships in third party, obviously Final Fantasy 16 is a big one. Spider-Man, I know a lot of people didn't dig it. I'm really digging it. But you know, you could play your Alan Wakes on there, you can play your Baldur's Gate 3 on there, you can play all of your third party stuff on there. And if that's the only console you had, listen, you're eating good too. Me, I'm eating overly good, which is why I got to take off a couple of pounds because I have so many games. It's just, it's ridiculous. Raiden Blade drops an outstanding and very generous £2 super chat and says, Merry Xmas to Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick family and panel. Brother, thank you so much for the kind words. And of course, the generosity. Oh, wow. Our 80s cartoon villain, folks. This is just insane. He has donated, folks, an additional, on top of the 20, an additional 10 double barrel gaming memberships. Dude, that is crazy generous of you. Thank you so much. One-Eyed Will, and I think that you must be a fan of course, Goonies, because why wouldn't you be? He drops a £5 super chat and says, Merry Crimbo to all and to all. To one and all. I'm sorry. Your daily live streams have kept me going, and updates on the gossip. Thanks. Hope you have a great Christmas, brother. Listen, I do this for you folks because I love you all, and I honestly love gaming. And honestly, I feel so privileged to do this. It's beyond words. It's honestly the greatest gift I could have ever been given is an audience that actually likes to listen to me talk about video games. It's unbelievable. Raiden Blade, who has been a channel member for 31 months. Dude, that is crazy generous of you. Thank you for the continued support. He says, all I'm going to say is Blade with Hellblade 2 graphics and better. But from the looks of Project Mara, I can tell you that all Xbox Studio titles will have it. Yeah, I believe that. And remember, it's a great reminder that they're still working on a horror game that is probably going to incorporate the Hellblade type graphics. What? Yeah, and we have one coming from Kojima too. Yes, please. We have Raiden Blade drops an additional £2 super chat and says, hey, Andy Murphy, you have talent, I believe. I don't know who Andy Murphy is, but whoever he is, yeah, I hope he does have talent. Elemental PO drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas to everyone in the panel and their families. And of course, Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Highlander 001, once again, man, and he's been donating a lot of these 5 more double barrel gaming memberships. Dude, that is very generous of you. Thank you so much. Eric the Red 06 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas to the panel and chat, and a big FU to this lazy F at work who has been in the restroom going for 30 minutes. Oh my goodness, Eric.
Shit happens, Boom.
What's that? That
I
you said
said
it happens?
shit happens.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. So listen, let me stop there. Dave, we were talking in the green room, and you have my interest peaked because you said the words G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I'm tell you this right now, I still collect G.I. Joe. Not the 3 3/4. I wish I had them. I have a horrible story of selling them all It's my worst nightmare ever, and it's gaming related, and maybe for another time. But we're talking, folks, our favorite Christmas moments, our Christmas or holiday moments that we're going to share with you. Dave, I want to hear yours because obviously you did say G.I. Joe. I'm excited. I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan even since back in the lifelike beards, even though I didn't care for them too much for those. I'm a 3 3/4 guy because I got my first 2 G.I. Joes in 1982 for my 12th birthday. Let's hear this amazing story because I know it's going to be amazing, sir.
Well, all right. So my dad got a bonus before Christmas from his work, so he was able to actually go a little all out on all mine and my sister's gifts that year. It was a good year, and I know not everybody has this, and my Christmases weren't always this should I say extravagant, but luckily he knew I was kind of a fan of GI Joe, and I had a few GI Joe figures. These are the tall, the 12-inch figures, that had like the faux hair and stuff on them and, and stuff like that. It was pretty funny. So one morning, Christmas, woke up and it was like all my packages were a different GI Joe like play set. So it was like, what? It was great. Being a little kid and opening up all that stuff, man, it was nuts. So like 2 or 3 action figures, G.I. Joe with a kung fu grip. You've heard that, I'm sure. And then, but I like the field tower, the observation tower, which when you assembled it, it was literally almost 4 feet tall. So it was like stood like it was taller than me, even Joe up there with, and then we got the helicopter where you hit the thumb button and the big blades would spin. And I mean, it'd smack you in the face. I mean, they were huge. And then the all-terrain vehicle.
The wingspan had to be about as wide as the camera view here. It had to be about 18 inches. Pause.
At least, yeah. It was pause. Yeah, it was it was crazy. Plus a bunch of like different like adventure sets, like with the with the astronaut set, the
oh man, that's
river
amazing.
rafting set, a bunch of weapons and stuff. So it was I don't know. Like I said, it was just one of those memories. It was like, dude, that was so cool. And later in life, obviously, you think, oh well. So I put back one of my Joes, and with the box that had the color Foot Locker, where you put a bunch of accessories and stuff in it, and it was pretty good size itself. And so, but all this other stuff, I'm an adult. My kids are one of them was grown, the other one's getting ready to go to I guess a high school at that point. I thought, man, let me sell them in a garage sale kind of thing. And I looked online and thought, oh, he's worth pretty good, but I'll just see what I can come up with. We'll just I'll let somebody offer me money for him, and we put him in the ad. And like the first guy there ended up being he was a reverend, and he was so excited because he was going to be able to add to his collection because he, like me, when he was younger, he didn't get a lot of that kind of stuff. So he was like refilling his childhood now, and I thought that was pretty cool. So it was kind of a pay it forward kind of moment. And I'll say I got a nice little chunk of change.
Okay, nice.
But yeah,
nice.
So it was
a bit of a blessing, cool. If you would.
Exactly.
You like that.
And what was funny is I told him that I still had that. Felt like I'm just going to save this. He put it away, and about every month or two, he would stop by the house. You thought about selling that yet?
Wow.
So finally, about a year later, I was like, you know what? I'll let you buy it, because he apparently had a whole room.
At that point, even though you're a bit saddened that you would let it go, it would be going into a good home. That is
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my story about that. But man, I love Christmas and stuff. It was pretty cool. So, but yeah, man, life is good.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's why Mrs. Boom and I, we are ridiculously blessed with good health. We're not rich folks. We're still saving for our first home. I'm 53. I wish I would have did it 20 years ago. It's going to happen at some point, but we can't afford the market now. So we're just going to keep saving, and eventually I won't be podcasting out of the corner of my apartment. I'll actually have a studio where I can show off my GI Joes and the rest of my wares like actual, content creators do, like Dave has in his, and we'll get there eventually. But before I bring in Dreadpool and Fuzzy Belvedere, I want to tell a story that is not so much, well, it's involving me, but it's really more so a Mrs. Boomstick story. When she was a kid, now mind you, we're the same age. We're both 53, right? She grew up and we grew up we didn't have, our families didn't have a lot of money. That's a reality. And when she was a kid and her, like, I don't know, maybe she could have been like 5 or 6 years old, she was given secondhand the Fisher Price dollhouse. And back in those days, it wasn't like a Barbie dollhouse. It was the Little People. I don't know if you remember them. If you're an old prick like me, then you understand. You'll know what the Little People are. They were made of wood. They were hand painted, and they had plastic hair. Right? You know, they had a dog. And this particular, and I'm looking at it right now. It's they had a couple of years. I think 68, 69, 70, and maybe even 71. They made it for Fisher Price. And we were Christmas shopping with myself, her, and her sister. And that particular year, and this is going back maybe 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, we were in Kohl's and we were looking at the Hallmark ornaments. And she starts to cry. And I'm like, honey, what's the matter? And they had made an ornament of this dollhouse. And she was beside herself. So I had this as when I was a kid, and because they grew up not with a lot of money, it was a really, really big deal. And of course, I saw it, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna get her this for Christmas. I think I could find one of these," and I did. And I went to eBay and I found one, and when I got it, and it was still like a couple of weeks, I had ordered it early. It was not what was in the picture. It was a disaster, and I was crushed. It was what a piece of junk was sent. It was terrible. So I was crushed, and I said, you know what? I found some other ones. So I found a vintage toy dealer. And I have her name. I write to her still to this day. Every now and again, I send her a message. Thank you so much for selling this to me. And I found her and I said, okay, look, here's my horror story. Is what you're showing me what it is? And in fact, it was. As a matter of fact, it was so mint that the doorbell still works. And she had the original 1968 box for this toy. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. So what I did is I left it in its box, and the way I wrapped it was when she would open it, it was sitting in this box, so it would be what she would not be like, not know what this thing is. And she did. And to say that she was so emotional, I started crying. It was magical. And that's what Christmas is all about. Like, I'm trying to keep it in now, but seeing her joy on something she had as a kid, that's what makes it all special. And that's my emotional story. Red, what's yours, brother?
You're torturing me, Boom. I'm feeling it. I mean, holy cow.
Sorry for bringing the mood down, but that's
No,
magic,
awesome.
man.
That's a beautiful story. I mean, how dare you do that to Mrs. Boomstick like that, make her cry
on Christmas, no less.
I mean, look at me. I'm like, I'm feeling it. Mine isn't as a tear-jerking, beautiful story. Mine is selfish.
No, that's okay, brother. Listen,
no.
Sometimes your best, you know what? You've heard this before, Dred. Sometimes the best Christmas gifts are the ones you give yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, let me explain the story here. This was when we were living in Chicago. I was probably about 11 years old or so. Right? It's right around that time. And we lived in a big house. We weren't rich by any means, but it was just, at the time you could afford stuff. And my dad was never home. He was always working. My mom was usually working too, and so my aunt used to live with us to watch us, and she was only a couple years older than me. So, and we would have these parties in this house, and my brother's 6 years younger, so this little kid pops up one day and says, "Hey, are we gonna have another party again this weekend?" And yeah, we got busted, so we were grounded. And this is right before Christmas and everything. And literally the whole block. You're talking about the whole neighborhood. So it's like the block down this way, the street's over and over this way. Everybody was at our house, and we would go downstairs in the basement and scare the crap out of each other. I mean, it was
So
a
you've been a
huge
horror fan
party.
even since you were a kid, huh?
Yes. We have a thing, and it's somewhere around here. I think it is still packed away. It's a clothing garment bag, but it was square, so it was like a big square thing that you can put multiple clothings in. And we called it the breathing bag because it was in this one room, and it would just you would see it inflate and deflate.
That is hilarious.
So that was like one of the things. So here we are getting in trouble because of this right before Christmas. So everything was taken away from us, this and that. We were, so grounded. That was the time that I hooked up the big speakers, and I would, because of the flooring, you'd put one speaker down into the vent, and it would like acoustic go across into the basement and everything. That, and nobody knew until my brother spoke up. So watch those little brothers. Well, here it is, Christmas. We're not expecting much. And we still ended up getting a lot of our toys that, I mean, they weren't going to take them away really because they already bought them. And those times
Right.
you didn't have the 30 days return policy for Christmas. And, but the best part was not just that part of getting our toys after all of this. The best part was the rest of the family showed up, right? So my
Oh,
grandmother,
wow.
my aunts and uncles, my uncle literally just retired and had his retirement last week, and he's like one of those big kid uncles, right? So this is my
My
mom's
favorite
little
uncle.
brother. Well, one of my favorite uncles. Each here's the beauty part, right? I always tell each of my family members that they're my favorite family member. So this way there is no favorite because
I love it. Don't admit that on the air. Hopefully none of them listen.
They don't listen. Well, one of them had already, let's say I've outlived him. The other one is retired, and then the other ones are in Greece, which they don't listen to this stuff anyway. They have no
Okay.
attention on listening to video games because they don't understand it. But that's fine. They're old school. So I'm in the clear on this one. You're my favorite aunt or uncle. So, and that was, he was such a kid, and this is the older one, right? He's such a kid that he tore apart the boxes for us and set up the race car set. All right. So we
Oh,
were
dude, that
literally,
is
he and I,
awesome.
and he and I really never got to be as close as the younger uncle because my younger uncle was only 3 years older. My mom used to babysit her sister and brother and throw the three of us in a tub. And you know what I mean? Because that's how close we were in age when we were like infants and stuff like that.
Wow.
So here we are, and I'm like I said, I'm 11 years old, and I'm just like, wow, like he's actually playing with us. It's not the younger one, it's the older one.
That's
Here's an
dope.
adult playing with us, and it was just the fact that the whole family got together at our house, um, and just seeing some of the adults actually act like children, and not in the 40-year-old Twitter children we're
Yeah,
talking
not that
about. We're
kind of. You're
talking
talking
about
about
actual
actually just
children that
enjoying the.
right.
Yeah.
The children's eyes point of view. And that was like something that again I'll never forget. It was so cool to see stuff like that. And of course I've got to involve my mom in it. So, She's in the story. So she's the one that got me into gaming and was the first gamer of all of us in our family.
That's freaking cool, dude. That is really cool. I love that. I love the story because it doesn't matter your age. You can still have that
Yep.
wide-eyed, the wide open eyes. He probably enjoyed playing with those cars and that racetrack more than you did. I bet you.
Think he did because he was the only one that was on there, and the rest of us had to share with him.
That's great. Yeah, he was
You know what I
hugging
mean?
it.
And he's still
That's
it's
great.
funny is he's still a kid at heart. He literally he would take pictures and make them into animated memes for our family members. He just did that for one
Oh
of my
man,
aunts with
that's
her
awesome.
husband with Christmas, and he's still, again, he's one of the uncles I look up to when I was younger, and I still do, because of his childlike nature, and I think that's kind of where I get some of my silliness from. When it comes to how he was, I have adapted some of the stuff because to me he was cool. He was the other
Mhm.
cool uncle too. Because he had the 3-wheeler, he had this, he had these toys that it was like, oh, I want to be like that. So, and then obviously the younger uncle was within my age range where I could be like that. He was just ahead of me where I couldn't do stuff just yet like he can, but I'm going to be there.
That's
So, but
cool, man.
it's cool when you see that with family, and you don't
Well,
you
I
don't expect
appreciate you
it.
sharing. That is an amazing story, and like I said, I can guarantee you that again, there's something magical about someone because this world could taint you very easily, right? We know
Yes.
this, and it doesn't have to be something horrible that happens. It's just the world is sometimes and more times than not a bit of a drag. There's so much horror. There's so much uh, you know, uh disingenuousness with people. There's so much violence. And when you hear these kind of stories that magic actually still exists, it's should give you hope. And I
You
think hope is one of the most important things that we should all carry with us. And that's
you wanna
just,
hear a good dose of magic that just happened this year? It literally happened a
sure.
couple days ago.
Hmm.
I took Tiny Giant to the store. We went to Publix to go get some food, and, we look, Santa Claus is pushing a shopping cart, and she's like, "What's Santa Claus doing here?" And we had just seen Santa Claus in Hawaii and taken a picture there, and we had to explain to her that Santa Claus takes many forms. And again, she's 10, so we're like right there on the edge. I don't know if
Mm,
she's playing with me, but I think this time here she's not. I think she actually still is believing it, but I
there's
think
nothing wrong
she's
with
got
that. Shoot.
questions. And we're like, "Huh, I guess Santa Claus is getting Mrs. Claus a public sub. He must be." And today she
Awesome.
she like literally repeated it to her mom, so Death Eater's like, "Do what?" And I had to explain the story. So it's like that magic still is there. It's funny how
Beautiful to hear, man.
kids still can be kids.
Yeah, yeah, and in a world that's dominated by social media, where that innocence can be easily taken away, that's phenomenal to hear. I love it. I absolutely
I
love it.
think I think here's something else magical. You need to check your numbers.
Let's see. Let's take a look. Let me refresh it. Hey, we crossed 14,000. That's amazing. We're at 1402. Holy crap. Thank you so much for that.
Congratulations.
You were watching. I wasn't even watching. That
I
is
just
awesome.
I looked at the chat and I'm like, people are like 14. I'm like,
Yes. This is great. This is an early Christmas gift to us. I cannot thank you fine folks enough for helping us get past the 14,000 subscribers before Christmas. I was hoping to do it by the end of the year, and here we are 3 days before Christmas, and we got it. That is a very early Christmas gift for us. And now on to bigger and better things. Thank you, community, for stepping up and helping us. And again, if you are finding the channel for the first time and you're on the fence, I'm not saying to unsub or sub or keep sub. I'm saying that I think that what we put down here on a weekly basis, you're gonna dig. And I do all breaking news. And like I said, it's something I love doing. So when you have a love for something you enjoy, you put passion, you put effort. I don't ever read from my phone, and when I do, I tell you because I effing hate reading from the phone. Sometimes I need to. For the most part, I write everything. I write my own scripts, and this is a really, really big deal. We are incredibly appreciative of this mark. 14,000 subscribers in 6 years is a really, really big deal. So thank you, community, for helping us get there. Okay, so I want to hear what Fuzzy has to say. But before we get to you, Fuzzy, let me catch up on the super chats here. We have Highlander 001, and this, folks, is absolutely a beautiful story. He drops an additional $10 super chat, and he says this: I lost a close friend earlier this year to cancer, and that's very sad. This is the first Christmas his family will not have him. Wow, that's devastating. So I got his 2 boys each a Series X, and I'm covering the mortgage for his wife. Dude,
Wow.
that is goosebump inducing. I got it from tip to toe. That is very generous of you, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself, because that is generosity on a level that you don't see very often. So I know you're going to get a lot of thanks, and there's going to be a lot of tears. I'll thank you personally and publicly. That is incredibly generous of you. So thank you for doing that. And I don't even
Yeah.
know these folks.
That's tear jerking right there, man.
Indeed, it is. And I know about losing, because I lost my pop when he was 45, folks. He passed away from lymphoma. And you know, how'd that happen? Well, he blue collar construction workers. He was a taper, and he worked with sheetrock. And back in those days, there was no, everything had asbestos, and he got sick, and he beat it once, and the second time he came back, it just was he just couldn't. So I understand that more than most. Thank you for that story, brother, and thank you for the generosity as always. Anthony Guerrero drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, happy holidays, everyone. Hope you all had a great 2023. In not just gaming, but in life. Xbox 2024 incoming. Yeah, man. I mean, this has been a tough year for a whole lot of people. And if you were fortunate enough, and again, I'm not a holy roller, folks. I'm here to tell you that we're all about paying it forward. And that's why Mrs. Boom specifically wanted to do a little bit more this year with the giveaways, because we know that some people have had a real tough go at it in 2023. And I will tell you at least this. We will 1,000% match what we did this year next year. I don't know if we could go higher. I don't know. But if we can, we will indeed at least match what we gave away this year, and that is $1,500 worth of prizes. We have Ultron Quake, one of our winners, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, thank you for the consistent generosity. I want to pay some of that forward. This really made my week. And brother, I'm glad that it did, and thank you for the generosity. Gerald Mack, slanderous as he can be, drops an additional $5 super chat and asks a very important question, especially if you are watching those Sony numbers. How many PlayStation portals were counted as a consoles? Sales added to that 50 million. You know, they're professionals at skewing the numbers. He's not wrong there. Jax82, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says Sony only does what works for them. They don't follow the trend. We do commercials to make you want to buy, not stream through a service. Big mistake, Sony. Indeed, it is. I think that they are so behind the 8 ball when it comes to moving forward as a corporation. I don't know if they pivoted too late. I'm a fan. I don't want them going anywhere. I don't think they're going out of business, though. I do think a drop to third place is imminent, in my opinion. Nick G. Nick, welcome to the program, brother. Happy holidays to you and your family. Folks, he has donated 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Dude, thank you for the generosity. That is very kind of you. Hargi Chani has dropped an additional 2 codes. Oh, wow, this is great. Supporting, of course, Insomniac Games. He has donated Steam global codes for Spider-Man and Miles Morales. And if, of course, if you want, please by all means thank him. Jonas the Dad has dropped a very generous $2 super chat and says, Merry Christmas, Mr. and Mrs. Boom and crew. Brother, Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Cyman drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas, Mr. and Mrs. Boom, panel and chat. And of course, we reiterate that to you and your family. Hopefully you have an amazing Christmas and more importantly, a safe one. El Monte has donated 5 double barrel gaming memberships. Wow, that is freaking crazy. Thank you so much, El Monte. Definitely appreciate the generosity. And he also follows that with an additional $2 super chat and says, Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. El Monte, thank you so much for the generosity. Edward Lafferty drops, who's been a channel member for 4 months. So Edward, thank you for that support. He says, Merry Xmas to all of the foxes. Let's hope that we have a great 2024. And yes, let's even wish the ponies well. They need some good news. Indeed that they do. Yeah, reach out to your favorite PlayStation player and let them know that, yeah, if they need someone to talk to, Xbox gamers, we are here in force. Picon Fusion, who's been a channel member for 3 months. Thank you for the generosity. He says, thank God it's Friday. Happy holidays, peace, and blessings. And indeed, the same to you and your family as well. We have We Robo 2024, who's been a channel member for 14 months and says, Merry Christmas to all. And Merry Christmas to you as well. So I'm going to stop right there for a second. Fuzzy Belvedere, I don't know if this is about you or it's about the missus or potentially the kids. What is your favorite holiday story that you want to share with us today?
It's going to be the wife and kids, but I'm curious how this one pans out. I can't talk about what I'm doing for them this holiday because they just
because you don't want to spoil it and you don't want them listening. They may have some spies listening for them. Don't let the cat out the bag.
No, but this was a few years back when the boys were much younger and they were getting into trouble, and we kind of joked with them that they were going to get like socks for Christmas kind of thing, and they knew that they needed to be on their best behavior, keep their grades up in school and whatnot. And the Christmas before, I bought them a laptop to share, and it was one of the cheaper ones because I figured, well, I think at that time they were like in 5th or 6th grade, so they don't really need much more than something that can browse the web, they can do their homework on, kind of thing. Nothing too terrible. And it was like one that was like a Best Buy special under like $500. It was probably under $300 at the time, and I thought that would be good enough, but turns out it wasn't. It was like watching molasses or paint dry kind of thing when it came to just loading simple.
Yikes.
So the following year, the Christmas bonus at the job was pretty good. And I told my wife, all right, I'm going to get the boys a real computer. We're going to see how this pans out. And I'm going to go ahead and put the order in with Dell. And I got them a decent spec one. And my wife was like, yeah, my MacBook is kind of getting old too. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't tell her anything, but I was like, okay. So I put the order in, not telling her because this is going to probably sound silly. We're one of the few married couples where we have like a joint account and then we have our own separate accounts. And I mainly used to do that because, my mom always told me have no money. So it was like the money I would, stash away over the year, whether I ate lunch at work or brought in lunch type of thing. I would, save all those dollars as best I could. And then that's how I would, surprise the family with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and ordered 3 Dell laptops. Didn't tell the wife, didn't tell the kids. And the wife was kind of suspicious on something because she's a teacher and because she works in a state where there's no taxes. I was like, I'm going to have these things, the computers for the boys sent to you. So be on the lookout for FedEx. Well, FedEx, not every FedEx employee is bad, but there are the ones that they sometimes hire for the holidays that just want to get through as quick as they can. So instead of going to the school, or they claim they went and knocked on the door, but there's a bell system and there's always somebody at the doors. They claimed that nobody answered. So they took it back to the warehouse. And this was like a couple of days before the holidays. And I'm like, I know I paid for like overnight. And I'm like, that's SOB. All right. So instead of the wife getting them and me having to explain, oh, maybe they miscounted and sent 3 instead of the 2 for the boys kind of thing, I had to go to the FedEx depot and be like, look, my wife said nobody came to the front door. She waited there the time frame that they claim that they're still staff at the school. So for a while it was like everybody tried to leave or get out of Dodge because it's like I guess it was like a Friday after like 5 at that point. But I was able to get somebody at the counter, was able to show the receipt and the delivery notice and all that stuff, and was able to pick up the laptop. So fast forward to Christmas morning. I had already wrapped them up. Didn't show the wife. Well, I had her wrap up one, and I wrapped up the other one for one for each one of the boys. I didn't show her that there was a third one there. So wrapped them up, hid them behind the tree, behind some other stuff. And as they're going through things, they got like some of the small stuff they wanted. And the last box I think they picked up was like the one of socks. And me and my wife jokingly were like, well, remember when you guys got in trouble and you broke the microwave earlier in the year and we told you you're getting socks for Christmas? And they were really hoping that they would get something a little more exciting. But I could see that they were their eyes were about to like water up. And I'm like, whoa. Did you really look through everything around the tree? And I guess there was like stuff for me and my wife that was there. And they were like, well, it's got your guys' name on it and stuff. And now I was like, look at the thing in the corner. You kind of like the Christmas Story with the BB gun. So there was the 3 boxes kind of leaned up behind the tree and everything.
That is awesome. I love it.
So I was like, well, how many boxes are back? It was like 3. I was like, okay, bring all of them out. I was like, oh, and then they saw that their names were on it. And then there was another one that was like for my wife on there as well. And they were like, wait, what are these? And I was like, here you go, to my wife and everything. And the boys are like, because it was like laptops are almost in the same shape as like a clothing box.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, tear into them. I mean, let's see what it is. And then as soon as they rip, it's like Dell. Like the other one I got them was like a Lenovo, and like I said, it was like one of the like doorbuster deals, which I regret getting that one. But
well, listen, you at least learn that if it's not reputable, then it's probably not reputable.
Yeah. No, but they were like they went from their eyes almost ready to water to like ready to bounce off the walls. And my wife was like, what is this? I was like, I don't know. Well, why don't you open it? And then she saw there was like another one. It was like, wait a minute. You ordered 3 of these? I was like, yeah. I was like, so what would you have told me if I got the things delivered to, like she didn't say it in front of the boys or anything, but it was like, I was like, oh, Dell must have made a mistake. Well, why don't we hold on to it for an hour or something type of deal? But her at that point, her MacBook was like probably 5 years old at that point.
Wow.
And she had put it through its paces at that point. So I wanted to make sure got her, the latest and greatest. And then same thing for the boys since they were doing really well in school. So that to see the family all like caught off guard and out of the blue kind of thing on something that they really wanted or needed was kind of special. And it's like I've had some awesome Christmases. I've been fortunate, growing up and stuff, but to finally like kind of return that same type of feeling to the family and stuff like that. I that for me was like, yeah, I did good,
Yeah. No,
But
that's definitely a pat
awesome
yourself on the ass kind of a moment, brother. That is amazing.
No, but that's it.
No, that's good stuff, dude. Listen, thank you for sharing, because obviously it's a proud moment as a dad and a husband. You do something like that, and you see how important it is to them, and that makes it all worth it. That makes it all freaking worth it. Listen, folks,
I love the bait and switch on it.
The bait and switch part is my favorite. That is hilarious,
that's awesome.
dude. You freaking kidding me? That's amazing. So listen, folks, look, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. Obviously, I still got some time left on the footage. This is another successful Christmas with Mrs. BoomStick. It's our 6th annual. Congratulations to all the winners. I'm going to catch up on the last couple of super chats. I cannot thank everyone enough with the generosity. Today has been overwhelming, both from a personal point of view, from a producer's point of view, that I was telling Dave, I always get super nervous. Like, I don't show it, you don't see it, but I'm all like leading up to this because we're giving away this much money. We got to somehow pause the show to read the super chats. We got to pause the show to do the winners. I don't know how it's going to work out, and it worked out pretty damn good. So we had close to 700 people here. Again, thank you so much for the support. We're over 14K. What a great, great, great early Christmas gift for Mrs. Boom and I. And as much as we enjoy giving, we definitely appreciate this gift that was bestowed upon us, getting past the 14K before Christmas. That is absolutely astounding. And of course, let me finish these last super chats and we'll get everyone out of here so you can start, because again, this is going to be a busy weekend for everybody. Lady Foxfire, one of the winners of the grand prize of $250. She says this after dropping a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Boom and Mrs. Boom. Stepped away to talk to the puppy and Bunty in the chat. Let me know that I won. Merry Christmas. I truly appreciate it. And Merry Christmas to you as well. And of course, I DM'd you, and we'll talk after the show. Sir X-Men drops an additional $2 super chat and says, as a kid, parents gave a Space 1999 Eagle. I cried. I remember that ship, dude, because you're as old as I were. Graybeard, so we
I
appreciate it.
had one of those too, man. I loved it.
I had one of those as well. Space 1999, folks. It's, if you try to watch it now, it's probably terrible. But that toy
It's
was
rough.
dope because it was big. It was awesome.
Yes, over 3 feet long.
Yeah. Pause. With your 3 feet long.
Oh yeah. Merry Christmas.
Nightwolf 3186 drops an additional $10 super chat and says, another memory is when I was little. I got every Ninja Turtle for Christmas, but like we all do at that age, got jealous when my cousin got the Ninja Turtle van, and I sat there looking at his cousin in disgust. Oh my God, that is priceless. I mean, listen, dude, you were a kid. It's okay. It's okay to look at the grass at the other mill. Yo, man, look at this grass is green, but their grass is greener, and it's Ninja Turtle green. I don't like it. I love it, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that. We also have Decado, very good, generous friend of the program, who's been a channel member for 7 months. Says, congrats on 14K. Thank you, Decado. Super appreciate the congratulations. Yeah, this is something we really, really, really were striving for, and somehow or another we did it. Sherwin Williams, one of the winners of the $100 gift card. Sherwin, don't forget to reach out to me on DM, Xbox Live, or of course email me. He says this after dropping a $10 super chat. Congrats on 14K, Boom. Thank you so much. You and Mrs. Boom deserve it. Merry Christmas to everyone, and be safe. And thank you for the kind words, and of course the generosity. Tim the Sorcerer, another gentleman that won one of the $100 gift cards. Tim, reach out to me, brother, so I can get that over to you. He says this after dropping a £2 super chat. Congrats. Happy Xmas present. Well deserved. Thank you so much. Yeah, I definitely do. And obviously, Tim, you're in the UK, so
Holy shnikes.
what's that?
You check your super chats.
Okay, yeah, I'm rolling through them. Tim, DM me with your PayPal information, and I'll get that right over to you. Big Mad Mo, generous friend of the program who has supported the channel for 20 months, says, yo, congratulations, Boom, on 14K. Well deserved. Keep up the great work you do, sir. I salute you. Have a Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Brother, thank you so much for the kind words. And of course, listen, again, we love doing this. We honestly really are so blessed to be able to have people that actually want to hear what we have to say. We also have Torino Johnson, one of the winners, drops an additional $2 super chat and says, congrats, Mr. and Mrs. Boom, on to 15K 20. Let's go. Thank you so much for that. Splendiferous, who donated a 3-month.
You guys ready
code.
for
What's that? Holy moly.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
wow. Yeah, I see it. Now I've come to it. Splendiferous drops an additional $2 super chat and says, I think Transformers will be in Game Pass in January. Me too. And I don't know if you folks saw Reactivate. There's a Transformers game that's a first-person shooter that Activision was working on. Go look for the trailer. It's called Transformers Reactivate. It looks freaking amazing. It's lifelike, real, like graphics like Last of Us. except it's a first-person shooter, and I think that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. Silent Cypher, who's been a channel member for 8 months, unfortunately could not be here, is here now, and he says, "Happy holidays to my awesome family on the panel and to everyone in the chat. Very thankful for you all, and we're thankful for you, brother. And we'll get you back here next week, and we'll close out the year on a high note." And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Bobby K's last day coming up? Like he's
Yep.
almost out of here. I think we may have to do a celebration dance
That's like
live
the
on the
Christmas
air.
present ever.
Yeah, that might be the greatest Christmas present if you're a human being that works for Activision Blizzard or King, because the devil is apparently taken off his throne. That's gonna be a podcast for the ages.
Well, you know,
we
Sony's
have-
looking for somebody to lead their division.
Yeah, I kind of heard that maybe he might have stopped the Bungie, and then I guess everyone threatened to quit. So yeah, that's not a good idea. Lucius Mesk in the chat drops an additional, a very generous $5 super chat and says, "My dog got out the 20th. Please send me good vibes to bring him home. Keep up the great work." Yeah, I mean, listen. Hopefully the pup is going to be okay. Their family. I know some people don't care for pets. And I get it if you don't, but they are still a big part of people's families, so respect it. We have Hot B in the chat, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Hello, Boom and panel. Merry Christmas. Halo is the king of first-person games. Indeed it is, and this is season 5. And as you can tell, the old man, well, I still have it because I'm double-digit kills each and every show, each and every game. There have been a few games, though, where I kind of wanted to hang up the battle rifle because I got my ass handed to me by these young punks. So sometimes I need to win a couple to get back into that spirit of I cannot quit Halo yet. Ducato, dude, this is crazy. He drops, folks, a $100 super chat. Ducato, that is crazy generous of you. Thank you, brother. He says, "Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, Boom. Sometimes when you give, you receive as well. Here's to whichever game you want next year," brother. Thank you so much. Believe it or not, what we do is we take these and we kind of tuck them away. And because next year we one of the big contests of 2024 that was expected to be this year got delayed, and that is because Mrs. Boom and I saw what happened to the team that is building and will deliver Stalker 2. Remember, obviously they're from Ukraine originally. What we wanted to do to kind of support the dev, the quote unquote support the dev, we will be purchasing 15 copies of Stalker 2 at full price and donating those to 15 winners. And of course, you as the winner will choose whether you want it for Xbox or you want it for Steam, and we will deliver those codes. And again, we're paying full boat for those. So just do the math. 76.43 times 15, that's what we'll be spending, because we want to obviously give back to the community, and we also want to help the dev, and we want them to make sure that they get paid for their services. And of course, they've had a really, really hard time. The fact that we're getting this game is, I mean, think about that. Their country is invaded. Their team members died in the service of defending that country, and they somehow got their families out, and they're still delivering this game. I mean, yeah, what are we talking about here? That is determination, that is tenacity, and we want to reward that by donating 15 copies at full price, so that we make sure that, of course, that developer gets paid. Again, just our way of paying it forward. And last and no way least, Gamer by Choice, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says, "Happy holidays, Boom and panel." Hold on a second, just start that. Thank you for all the hours of enjoyment for 2023, and I hope to see you all in 2024. Gaming is the best hobby in the world, and glad to share it with everyone. Congrats on 14K to Mr. and Mrs. Boom. Brother, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for the generosity. And yes, we are going to have one heck of a 2024, especially if you are an Xbox fan. But listen, let's get to the outros. Dave, let's start with you. You, my friend, you're not sitting on your laurels.
Nope.
You will be on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve delivering gaming news talk with yourself and Retri to give the people something to listen to, a true champion of justice here. Sell the brand of the Gamers Council podcast, and more importantly, where they can subscribe to that channel as well as reach out to you on social media.
Well, I put the link in the chat, and of course on X, Twitter. It's just Web Dave. You can find me there. My links are in there as well. Plus, Boom is nice enough to put them in the show notes here. So if you want to check and scroll, there you go. You've got them. Click on it. Yes, we're actually going an hour early, so we are going at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's 5 p.m. for me since I'm Central Standard Time. But yeah, so we're going an hour early. That way, if it goes long or whatever, that's cool. If it goes an hour at least. But we do have a couple of guests that have asked to be on, which is awesome. Hargeet Chani is going to actually is going to be there with us, so it's going to be good and spicy talk as well. And we'll talk about all the current topics plus a few other things. It'll be fun, and plus some like, what do we think is going to be coming up in the new year? That's one of the big things we're going to be talking about.
That's
on
going to
this
be a
Sunday
fun
shows.
one.
Yeah, and then we also have which you promoted earlier today. I think it's maybe his first podcast he's going to be on is a Nerd Propellant is actually going to be on. We're going to be talking about his website as well, and he's going to be guesting and giving his opinion. So that's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, we're excited for that, and I just want to wish Fuzzy, Dreadpool, yourself, and please tell Mrs. Boomstick with all our hearts we do appreciate everything she does, and the show wouldn't be what it is without her supporting you. And anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year's. We love you guys, and we'll have our show this Sunday.
Yes, that's gonna. Well, thank you so much for the kind words, and obviously, folks. Again, Christmas Eve, he could be hanging out with his family. He's gonna be hanging out with us, and obviously, we want you to get over there and subscribe and check it out. And of course, Hargeet Chani. I mean, that dude is here, there, and everywhere, but he's also on vacation. To be fair, that guy has beaten more games in the last couple of weeks than I've beaten in the last 3 years. I should be ashamed of myself, and he is a champion of gaming justice. So go check that out on Christmas Eve, and of course, New Year's Eve, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss that show. Dreadpool, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for horror related content, but also you do something called breakfast. I was going to say breakfast with dread. No, it's actually breaking bread with dread, folks. And this is, again, it's a very unusual take on talking about video game news, and some of his guests have been tip of the spear. Talk about it, brother. Sell the brand, and more importantly, where can people find you on social media?
Yes, I do need to update the screen, but let's just go with it. Linktree.com has.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Linktree.com has everything that we need to find me. But yes, definitely YouTube at Dreadpool, all letters, all caps. Twitter is Dreadpool with zeros instead of O's. But yeah, it is a unique interview session, which we talk about everything and anything, and it's Breaking Bread with Dread. And that's the beauty of it, is because it's live, not live recording, but not live streaming. So it's awesome to meet all these great personalities and interact with them in person, which is what makes it more difficult, because here we can all jump on anytime and see each other. And you got to orchestrate all this stuff. Even in Hawaii, spent 2 weeks trying to get a hold of one guy. Wow. And still could not get it accomplished. So that's on me, because again, spent 2 months before I flew out there, and the whole time I was there trying to get a hold of this guy. So, but yeah, that's what makes it hard. So I appreciate each and every one of you that check it out, and I do have others that are in process of being pushed out. So Back from the Dead is one of them. So definitely check that out once it's published. So I appreciate everything. Gaming Beyond the Box, Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. I know we compete with Web Dave, but we're both friends, so it doesn't matter which one of us you watch live, and doesn't matter which one of us you watch after the fact. If you're on PC, just put them both on at the same time. just flip flop, but again, support those guys as well as us. We appreciate it. And every Friday here, 10 a.m. when I can be, as long as work doesn't screw up my schedule. My schedule is to be here at 10 a.m. to hang out with all of you at the same time and have a good time talking games. And then the other one I have to add on, I am a resident guest on Good Morning Xbox Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. with the iconic video games channel, which is Axel and Cool Cat Terry and Eternal Sajai. So check us out Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern to start off your gaming day for the weekend.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, I got to thank each and every one of you guys. Like I said, you guys are my family, as well as the chat is my family. And you guys have helped me again with, even though it's still the past, it's been a few years. It still hurts. She still feels like she's still here. So dealing with my mom's passing,
Yep.
you guys have helped me move on and carry on her name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So stuff like that helps. I even have a special Thanksgiving thing that was sent to me. So I put it out there for next year to be as a short for the world to see, where she wishes myself and my, her kids and her grandkids a happy Thanksgiving. So
Dude, that's
next
crazy.
year,
Someone sent that to you?
yes, I had
Wow,
one of her
dude.
friends found it on her phone, so she sent that to me, and I
wouldn't be you wouldn't be able to talk to me for an hour.
that's how I was, because again, it's hearing her voice, hearing, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
something that I
man.
haven't seen. And again, I sent it to my brother, and he was kind of flabbergasted. So then I decided I'm going to post it next Thanksgiving
That's
for
dope,
the
dude.
world to see. So again, this is because of you guys. You guys, our family, and now that it's out there, you guys have helped me get along
Oh, we
and
appreciate it.
move
Well, listen,
along. You know
brother,
what I
we're
mean?
here for you. And
So
unfortunately, I know all too well about not
yes,
having a mama. So I understand. Actually, don't have both my parents. So when you have them, hug them, folks. Hug your parents, even though sometimes they could be a pain in the ass. And
yeah.
they think that they know that you got to remember they're looking at you as the kid that you were. Not sometimes it's not the man that you are. So hug your parents, folks. Hug your
So
parents.
with that said, just so you guys know, my DMs are open.
Mm.
I am not a professional. I forgot what the number was. Do I have it?
988 is the
There you
number
go.
for anyone that's having a difficult time. I will reiterate that
Yes.
in a second, but please continue.
My DMs are open. I can listen. I may not know what to say, and none of my stuff is professional. It's just, if you need to speak to somebody that, just tell me you just want somebody to hear you. And that, if that's all it is, I can be that person too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
sometimes that's all you need, and if you need more, what was it, 988?
988. Yeah,
so
if you need to reach out to somebody, and I'm glad that Dredd brought this up because I didn't want to forget it. This time of year is very tough.
it is.
And there are, sometimes people just need someone to listen to. The number again, folks, super easy. And shout out to Katie Babs on Sirius on Octane. That's where she talks about it every day. Every day that she's on DJing, she mentions the numbers 988. And I want to pass her message forward. If you are having if you're having a hard time, if you're having some thoughts that you think that you're not comfortable with, 988 on your cell phone. You can talk to a counselor. They are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and even on holidays.
Yep.
Reach out.
So again, thank you all. I really appreciate you guys. You guys don't understand how much you all mean. And, so it means a lot. So if you guys need help, you know where to look. And now that we're done with that part, let's get on to the party part. Congratulations, 14K.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I'm stunned. Honestly, I didn't think we were going to get it, but here we are. Thank you, community. Dreadpool actually, who's been a channel member for 2 months, I didn't even know this, has said this: Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you thank you all for being a part of our family and support through the years. Remember to spread the magic of happiness. Indeed, that is words to live by, folks. And quickly, Tim the Sorcerer, again, one of the winners today, drops a £6 super chat and says, "Have an amazing end of year, everyone. Make the next one even better." Indeed, my brother. And like I said, reach out to me and we'll get you your winnings. And last and no way least, Fuzzy Belvedere, who shared an amazing story that he was very proud papa and husband, as he should be. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre, especially if you're a fan of Forza Horizon 5 and Gran Turismo for that matter. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel and, more importantly, follow you on social media?
Just want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on here with you guys, and always a pleasure to do a show with Web Dave and Dreadpool and you yourself, Boom. And thank Mrs. Boomstick for all she does behind the scenes. It's always great to have a strong, supportive spouse always behind you, and it definitely is paid off with your guys' hard work. Congrats on the 14K, and let this lead on to the 140K for down the road.
Yeah, man.
Definitely
Now we're
looking forward
talking.
to that. Thanks to everybody in the chat for taking the time to join us and sharing the stories and interact with us. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate your time and interest in our podcast, and just enjoying the same hobby as far as we have with gaming and everything associated with it. Also, for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, you can always follow me or find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also do a search on YouTube for Fuzzy Belvedere, all one word, and you'll be able to find my channel. I think I'm going to be on with C Money and his family later on tonight.
Oh, that's
6
awesome. He's in the
p.m.
chat. Shout out to Doodle. Shout out to C Money and the family. Great group of community members. That's dope.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if we're going to do an Xbox Ultimate tonight, but if so, 10 p.m. Fun Speculations channel as well later on tonight. Shop Podcast is going to be off for the holidays this Saturday. So looking forward, and with the holidays next week, going to be off of a off day for a few podcasts on Monday, but look forward to seeing everybody here next Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Breakfast with Boom. Enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. If whatever you celebrate, enjoy with your family. Be safe and enjoy the new year.
Thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, what a show. 2+ hours, 2.5 hours. We gave you a couple of really good, shout out to the Black Viking who gave us a topic that I didn't even think about. It was really worth having that conversation. Of course, we got a chance to sit down and, look, you get a peek behind what makes us us. And we shared some of our very personal stories. A lot of shout out to the people in the chat. We had over 700 people here. Congratulations to all of the winners. I will be getting in touch with everyone between today and tomorrow. Hopefully, we can have everyone get their prizes at least by tomorrow. So if you need to use them for gifts, the holiday hasn't happened yet, which is great. A shout out to everyone in the chat, whether you super chat or not, and you shared some of your personal stories. We love that. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read all of them, but as you know, I have 3 screens open and I only have 2 hands and 2 eyes, technically 4 with the glasses, but I wanted to make sure that the show ran well. And of course, a huge thank you to all of the generosity that has come the way of the super chats. I mean, they just unbelievable, overwhelming, overly generous. We can't thank you enough. And of course, we're going to pay this forward, which, like I said, which is the first contest of 2024. The launch day, we'll be doing a launch day special edition podcast to support the devs that are bringing us Stalker 2, and we will give away 15 copies that we'll be purchasing at full price. And again, that's what a lot of these super chats will be used for. Mrs. Boom and I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a happy holidays, whether that be, obviously, if you celebrate Kwanzaa, if you celebrate Hanukkah, if you celebrate anything you're celebrating, celebrate it with your family, your friends, help others. Obviously I say it all the time. My dad was a genius of a man for a guy that was just a blue collar dude. And I want to, of course, say his words like I do at the end of every show. And that is something that I think is incredibly important, especially the way the world is now. And he used to say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So happy holidays, everyone. Mrs. Boom and I send many, many love and blessings to you and your family. Be safe. Remember, please do not drink and drive. And we will see you next week. We have a couple of shows. Monday and Tuesday, we're taking off. There'll be shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to close out the glorious year. And of course, we'll be talking about what you got for Christmas, as we all do as kids. We'll see you later. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing holiday, and we'll see you soon.